Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Postgame Overreaction show presented by UJSports.com and Benton Attorneys at Law. I'm your host, Paul Meharry, joined alongside my co-host, Jason Butt. What a game, folks. What a game. Georgia came out, started off slow, down 10-0, finish off the game 31-17. Shout out to all of those that were inside Sanford Stadium making a difference, wearing black, and just making yourself known. If it's your first time watching, let us know where you're watching from. Also, if it's your 100th time watching, let us know you're here. Your comments help move the show along, and we just appreciate it so much. Georgia wins 31-17 without a rushing attack, Jason. Tennessee knew what they were going to do. They were passing the ball. Carson Beck comes out 347 yards. What a game, Jason.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you have to say for all that, all the bad that Carson Beck has looked this year from the second quarter on, if he plays like that, it makes you think anything can happen. Georgia plays Georgia Tech. That's a de facto play-in game. They get by Georgia Tech, they're in the playoff. And I don't think there's any doubt about that. And so get in the playoff, and if Carson Beck's able to play the way he did tonight, then they can make some noise, and they're going to be a team that nobody wants to play, which after the first quarter, or I should say a good 10 minutes into the game, I was sitting there going, here we go again. It was a really, really bad start, more of the same. The drops were just killer, and that's the thing that's got to be – it's eating everybody alive, whether you're inside the program, outside the program. This team, they can't help but drop the ball and situations where they shouldn't, and we haven't seen them do so years before. But Carson Beck was on the money. Mike Bobo, I thought, called a great game plan. The offense put up numbers, and they weren't empty. The yards were all legit, and it was all Beck, doing his thing out there. So kudos to him. I've criticized him plenty of times, and I'm going to give him his due tonight because I thought he played a really good game.
Yeah, I think just overall, like I said, Georgia didn't have much of a rushing attack. 19 attempts for 68 yards for Frazier, averages out at 3.6. You take out that long 16-yard carry, and it even drops further than that. Tennessee knew what Georgia was going to do, and they were going to pass the ball. Dylan Bell goes out, and then you see Georgia look around and say, well, what do we have to do? They went 3 tight end set, the most of the game for the rest of the time there. London Humphreys with an amazing catch on third down.
That was huge.
The call to get Urasek the ball right there on that play action down near the goal line took some stones from Mike Bobo and company. This is, I want to say, kind of a redemption game for the offense, even though the wide receivers still had some drops, right? The offensive line looked incredible. Monroe Freeling at left tackle. They didn't rotate, I don't think, any tonight, Jason, compared to previous games, right? And again, no rushing attack. Tennessee knows what you're going to do, and Carson's able to go out there 25 for 40 and light them up for 347 yards. Just a crazy game, because when the game started, like you said, Jason, first quarter, basically, you're like, man, this doesn't look good. Georgia can't move the ball, period. Like I'll have to go back and look through the let's see if I can find it here. Yeah. First quarter, Georgia had 66 yards. Then second quarter had 174, 119, and then 94, finishing off with 453. First quarter was not great. Georgia was able to win this game, though, and look good doing it. We've got some folks waiting. Let's go ahead and bring them in. Let's get John in here. I see you, Andrew. I see you, DDB. We'll get to you in just a second. John, what's up, man?
What's up, fellas? How are y'all?
Hell of a win, brother.
Well, yeah. No, I just hate to be cynical. Hey, where's it been?
Oh, no, you're doing this?
No. I just hope that it's here to stay and not just because our backs are against the wall. I really, next week is, you would assume, a glorified scrimmage, but Georgia Tech would wager their program. They would shut down their program to get a win and knock Georgia out of the playoffs. Kirby Smart, I don't think he'll ever take that game lightly, but certainly not done. And like he said, I don't know if y'all caught what he said at the end. He said, you'll never know what this committee's going to do.
Yeah.
So I just hope that they don't I hope they don't penalize the the loser of the SEC championship game, but it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't.
Yeah. So from what I saw, Jason, you're probably better off at this than I am. Georgia still has a chance at the SEC title game now that LSU lost, or
There's a lot of computer figuration sort of things and tiebreaker scenarios that honestly, I think it would be pretty tough for Georgia to get in,
which is fine.
Yeah, I think in a strange way, it would benefit Georgia to not get a third loss. So just kind of. And I don't think they would penalize the loser of the SEC championship, honestly, and drop them all the way out or anything like that. I think that would be kind of silly you make the game and then you don't make the playoff, but you would have made the playoff if you didn't play the game. I don't think we'll see a scenario like that, especially with this conference. This conference has been strong, top to bottom, really, all season long. So you look around and you compare the SEC to the Big 12, Big 10, ACC. It's SMU's leading the ACC right now.
Right.
Big 10's top heavy. You get past, Indiana's the third best team. We'll see. I mean, Indiana's played well. They're undefeated. You get past Indiana and you start. There's a pretty considerable drop off in the Big 10. It's not that way in the SEC. You got teams all across. You've got 6-7 strong teams that could vie for a playoff spot. So, I think you're looking at 5 or 6 getting in from this conference.
So Tennessee's got to be out, right? They're out.
Probably, yeah. I think with the way the standings are, and we should pull that up. I would think Tennessee with 3. I think it's just going to be.
Well, Tennessee's got only 2. Only got 2. I only have
in the
one
conference, right?
Yeah.
You're right. It's only 2.
Yeah.
But that Arkansas loss is bad.
Yeah.
Let me shout out KC real quick, though. But the big donation says, Beck had me eating crow tonight, played good. We appreciate the donation, KC. And you're right. I think he's got a lot of people eating crow tonight, and rightfully so. He showed up. John. I think he might have heard the chatter a little bit,
No, he did. He looked like he did last year. And I said that on the site. That if we see him 2023 back, he'll be good. And I know you're going to late night and you can be busy. I just want to say 3 quick things. Number one, hats off to Monroe Freeling. He played unbelievable tonight against that guy that's probably an All-American. Held the offensive line in general played well, but specifically Monroe Freeling. Our hometown boy, Chaz Chambliss, played lights out on defense, and he got that key block on that touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
And the third thing I want to say, and I hate to even bring this up, because I really do believe that it's something. I've had concussions. Some of them were self-induced because my mouth wrote a check that I couldn't cash at the time. Nico, however he said, he was not healthy, and I hope they investigate Tennessee. I've seen it. I'm not a doctor. I don't plan to be one, but you can tell when you look at somebody, his eyes and the way he reacted on some of those hits. He was not healthy. He was not healthy.
Obviously, John, that's never going to get looked into, right?
No.
You could see it on a couple of those plays, especially what was it, that last one where he got hit pretty good, and they were like, "Get up, get up, get up," and he was wobbly, and then I think they had to call a timeout on that one. Yeah, it was their second to last timeout.
Yeah, because it was 4th down.
Right, and then he lost the ball there, but he was wobbling right there. They put him back in. Yeah, you'll never see it get looked into, but you're right, John. It needs to be because it didn't look great for him at times.
And then I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say real quick. Until there's a legitimate regulatory body like the NFL has. Yeah, you're right. Nobody's ever going to look into it, and that's a shame. Yeah. For these players for their safety.
There weren't going to be a doctor in the state of Tennessee to rule that guy out. Whoever
no, absolutely.
And if they don't if Greg Sankey's got a set, he'll find them too. If he's going to really hold – that guy was not hurt. Go back and look.
No, yeah.
If he's got a set, he needs to be sending the bill on Monday.
That was rough.
Yes.
And you saw Heupel go up to him. He had his hand over his face, and I think what he was saying was, I think pretty much like, hey, you can't come back in on this series right here because they know what we did. So like you saw they took him over to the sidelines, and he was huffing and puffing, but it was one of those like, no, we can't let you go right back in. They'll definitely fine us for that. So they'll try to weasel their way out of it. But It wasn't great.
I think that needs to be a reviewable play for officials.
Yeah, because
similar to targeting. I mean, if you got the people in Birmingham, if they see that and they're like, okay, this looks like a fake injury, stop it, review it, and then penalize the team for doing it. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and
it killed. I think Georgia ended up scoring on that drive, if I'm not mistaken. But it definitely killed it didn't kill the tempo, but it killed the rhythm of Georgia and how they were kind of moving the ball. They were able to get back into it, thankfully for Georgia, but that's terrible. So,
it's just poor form. It's not sportsmanship.
Well, no, y'all gonna have a light night. Hey, Nitro Tug will look damn good too, man. Hey, that's really exciting to see how he looked tonight.
I'm glad we're gonna be talking about him, John. We appreciate you, my man.
Yeah, Nitro Tuggle, man. Tell you what, there's some other receivers who he should be playing over right now.
He looks the part. What does Georgia have him listed at officially? 6'1", 190. He looks bigger than that to me. He looks. I like his frame and him out there. What did he get? 2 passes tonight? Yeah, 2 for 25. Targeted him 4 times.
Drew the key face mask with his helmet getting ripped off, and
I got a couple.
That was huge. A 2nd and 24. You're not thinking that you're going to end up getting a touchdown out of that drive, and then Tennessee.
I got a couple texts from non-Georgia fans about that, saying that the calls were going Georgia's way. He clearly got his hand up underneath the.
Yeah, that was a good call. I thought there were some calls, some kind of fit like bang bang calls where you looked at the replay and you slow it down and the refs got him right. I thought it was pretty well officiated. Both sides. I mean, there was nothing that stood out that you're just like, oh my god, that's terrible. Right. There might have been something. I'm just not thinking about it right now. But in terms of the big calls, like the 12 men on the field. I know Josh Heupel was going crazy. It was the right call.
It was the right call. And it's not when Carson gets the ball in his hands, Jason. It's when the ball is snapped. I think that's what threw off a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Because by the time the ball got to Carson's hands, he was off the field. It's when it snapped. And within that split second, he did not get off the field.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned, Trevor mentions the false start. Yeah, it did look like Beck might have false started. So that might have been a break for Georgia there in terms of
Double G took notes. So we're looking forward to those tonight. So Jack White's in the building. He says Nitro from here on out, please. Yeah, big recruiting win as well. Yeah, we're going to have a ton of that over on the site. We got Foster Moss in the building. What's Nitro's jersey number? Nitro is number 2. So, yeah, man, crazy game. We got a little donation here from Chris Garcia, $5. We appreciate it. He said, out of all the SEC coaches, I despise Heupel. He's dirty as dirty can be. Calling timeouts at the end is poor. Yeah, what? I don't understand that. Like, you've lost.
If he's down by 1 touchdown, maybe you're like a miracle fumble on a, but no, down 2 touchdowns.
You're down 2 touchdowns. Like, you're going to really.
You're putting your players at risk as well as Georgia's players. Like, grow up. And that was poor for him. I agree with that.
I don't quite get that, but that is Josh Heupel for you. So let's bring in Andrew Butts, man. Andrew, you ready, brother? Let's get him in here, man. Andrew, what's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Hell of a game, brother.
What a game, dude. Especially living here in Franklin, Tennessee. That was so awesome. Being in Vols country and all my buddies that are Tennessee fans. This is good. This is a good one. I love this. I always love this one.
What initial thoughts, Andrew? What you got?
I mean, I took a couple notes as well. I saw. Oh, can you hear me?
All right, we got you. Yeah, you must have been getting a phone call from one of your Vols friends.
Am I there?
Yeah, you're good. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Under the circumstances, I mean, wouldn't you say that this is one of the better games that Carson's played under the circumstances? I would think.
I think
it's probably his best game of the season outside of the Clemson game.
But the Clemson game I feel like he had a little bit, I don't know, more weapons.
I mean, the first half was slow, and then he had a good second half. I mean, first quarter was bad for him. It was more of the same, and then second quarter on, it was just really efficient football, really smooth game for him.
Chris Garcia says you got that Netflix connection.
Hopefully you don't feel like
Tyson's ass popping up on your camera.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I was Anyways, I just felt like even from last year to this year with just with the circle. I mean, this was a playoff game tonight, and to watch him go out there and spin it like he did I was over the moon, man. It was so fun to good for him, dude. Taking all the heat from all of us, Twitter, ESPN, blah blah blah. Like, what a great night for him just to bounce back and shut everybody up.
No, yeah, I think, like I said to Jason to start the show, Tennessee knew that Georgia wasn't going to be running the ball effectively, at least, and they still were able to come out and beat Tennessee. And hey, shout out to the defense too. We haven't even talked about the defense really. Shout out to the defense. They held Tennessee scoreless in the second half, right?
Yeah, it was. That's right.
And there were the big change happened pretty early. They took Julian Humphrey out, put Daniel Harris in. He locked down that side of the field. Didn't see Julian Humphrey back in the game. This is one of those, might be one of those Tom Brady. What was it? Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe, Jason?
Yeah.
Where Tom Brady came back in for him because he was hurt. This might be one of those where Daniel Harris has locked down that other side of the secondary for the Dogs.
That was a bad PI too.
It was.
Yeah.
He wasn't even looking for the ball.
It wasn't. And he's had that problem all year. I mean, he not looking for the ball. I mean,
yep.
You just
I think I saw Roddy tweet something or it might have been Roddy. Somebody on Georgia Twitter was talking about, they were like, I would throw it deep on Humphreys every time. And I think Kirby
they
realized that.
They made sure to get him out of there fairly fast. So
I mean, otherwise, like, shout out to the tight ends. Gosh, I was so happy to see Delp get it going, and you're at that big play at the end, and obviously kudos to Bobo, at getting it together or whatever. Kudos on that play call with the fake run and then dumping it off to Urasek, kind of like countering it back the other way. That was just pure genius. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's a crazy game, man. Definitely crazy for sure. Andrew, any final thoughts? I want to get to the rest of the folks that are waiting.
Yeah. No, I thought, I saw a stat that Roddy tweeted that Kirby Smart's now 17-0 at night games in Sanford, which is just unbelievable. That atmosphere seemed awesome. It seemed like the fans showed up, and you guys were talking about recruiting. I saw where Elias Williams and Ethan Barber were both at the game. So great night for the tight ends to show out whenever you got those two boys in the stands.
Hey, I like both of them. I think Elias he's gonna be special.
Elias is gonna be a dog, dude. I think Barber is gonna be really good too.
I think both of them are really good, yeah. But I think you're getting Elias, but you're getting the size of Darnell Washington, but like the ability to catch better.
Yeah, it's like the size of Darnell, but he plays like a Pickens or an ex-tall receiver. But anyways, thanks for having me on, guys. Go Dogs, and we'll see you.
All right, man. See ya. Oh, this is a good question. James Caraway trying to stir the pot a little bit because this had me a little red-iced, Jason. I'm not gonna lie to you. He said, "Do we lose if we wear the black? Do we lose if we wore the black jerseys?" Man,
no.
I was so pissed that they didn't come out in black jerseys, dude. You tell the whole crowd to black out, Jason. And then
Kirby doesn't like the fake juice, man.
Dude, but then Uga comes out in the black jersey. Yeah. You're thinking, all right, they're switching. And also, here's the thing, too. Like, these 7:30 kickoffs, this is another thing that kind of chaps me a little bit. They've all been pushed back like 20-plus minutes. Well, the Florida LSU game ended fairly quick. So I thought, okay, they'll move it back up to, the 7:37 normal kickoff.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. So there's more anticipation. There's more time there, Jason, to change out to a black jersey. They don't do it. They come out in the red. And
I don't understand the aversion to the alt uniforms. I mean, it's just Georgia and Bama at this point. Even Michigan and Ohio. I guess Penn State too. I don't think Penn State does an alt uniform.
No.
But yeah, like even Michigan and Ohio State. It seems like most of the traditional teams, the blue bloods, they've all just given in. The recruits, the kids like them. Who cares? Fans like them. Who cares?
Dude, you're calling for a blackout. Yeah. It's the perfect time to pull it out.
It's crazy because these are the kind of like the discussions that folks have about the program that Kirby doesn't want them to have about the program. So your solution is like just do the jerseys. Who cares? Like it's not a big deal.
Right.
So whatever,
Yeah,
whatever. They still won. I mean, they're gonna do what they want to do. It's.
I know, but I think if you're gonna pull them out, at least pull them out. Maybe Jason for Tech Friday night home game under the lights. I don't know.
I mean, until they should just not do it this year. Then in the offseason, like Josh Brooks says, look, Kirby,
Announce a game.
Not even that. Just say, hey, we're gonna have all uniforms. These are gonna be the combinations, whatever, and then let the equipment teams decide what like the other teams, like every other team does. It's just make it normal.
Yeah, I would have liked that. It would be cool. Yeah. Speaking of black jerseys, DDB's in one.
What's up, guys?
Hey, DDB, aren't you? You're wearing your black jersey. You thought they were going to come out in black jerseys?
I am, yeah. Shoot, I'm really not into like the whole like black jersey discussion. Honestly, like it is what it
as he wears one. As he wears one,
just come out and win. I don't care what we wear.
Yeah.
But big question for you guys. One word to describe the game today. What you got?
I have a hyphenated word.
Go for it.
Season saving.
Words. Okay. Season saving. That's a good one. I have resilient and then impressive, or kind of the two that popped in my head. Yours? What do you have, DDB?
Mine's crazy. For
crazy.
multitude of reasons, right? Crazy what happens when your offensive line can block for the entire game.
It's nice. Yeah.
Crazy what happens when your wide receivers can actually catch the ball. Crazy what happens when you can run the ball semi-effectively and how it can open up the rest of the passing game. Crazy some of the catches that Tennessee made today.
That one over the middle by Squirrel White.
Squirrel White was insane.
Oh, nice.
Dude, I was like, that's why that man's nickname is Squirrel. Did he look like a squirrel?
And the way he ducked his head to avoid taking a shot there too. That was pretty remarkable.
Cross-bodied catch like that. Yeah. That was insane.
And they had it teed up for Herb Street too, like to say like there goes Squirrel, like, and he didn't play on the name. He was just like, yeah, Squirrel White with the catch, and I was like, dude, that's why he's got the name. It's nicknamed Squirrel. Like, we're not gonna play on that at all. We're just gonna leave. Okay, all right, cool, yeah. Okay.
But man, welcome to the party, Oscar Delp. Where's this been? I mean,
yeah, I think if they can get the tight ends, Delp, Lucky, and Jurisic has been playing well the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Ben, you're awesome, bro. Where was this all season? Like, we're running after the catch, we're catching the ball and making moves up the field and running like hard.
It's one of those things where you see the tight end group play like this. It makes you wonder if they're going to keep relying and leaning on this group, given the fact that Arian Smith.
I think they have to. They have to.
The guy's got speed and Arian, and then we had like 2 or 3 drops tonight. But I know Dom Lovett had that early drop. Bell had that pop. We're dropping pop passes out here. Thought that was kind of crazy. Yeah. But they settled in after the 10-0 start or getting down at 10-0, and then they made some plays and Beck looked sharp. And I think Delp really that 19-yard touchdown pass where. I thought, at first I was wondering why Beck didn't make that throw sooner, but then he was just waiting just enough for Delp to get deep enough so the linebacker couldn't pick it off. And I thought that was just exceptional awareness in the back of the end zone for Delp to make that play, to stay in bounds. And then, like you said, he had a wonderful game out there. And if the tight ends get more involved in the passing game, there's just so many mismatches that they can take advantage of with them.
And I don't know if you guys have any update, but have you heard anything about Bell?
Haven't heard anything yet, but it doesn't sound great. Already we heard what they sit on TV in a boot and in regular clothes. I doubt we'll hear anything from Kirby on that front. Obviously tonight, the earliest we could hear something would be the Monday press conference, but with this whole injury report now, Kirby's also showed that he's like, hey, you got to wait for the injury report with Cash Jones this past week. So it very well could be one of those. I'm sure we'll get something leaked out on it by Monday, though.
Sure. And then, with Carson Beck, his legs were huge tonight. Do we start to see some more RPOs with Carson Beck at all?
What do you think, Jason?
I don't know if I think what you saw tonight is what you should be focusing on, because I think there was a good mix of getting him comfortable, especially after the start. And the start really wasn't even his fault for the, it was that first play of the game's a drop, and he should have caught it. So he had some things going against him. I thought Carson, compared to some of the other games, he didn't let the early bad stuff affect him. Like the body language was much better. Makes you wonder how much he is listening, and because I mean the criticism was at a fever pitch, and I just think so many folks.
You, Jason, you had people like saying if Beck doesn't win this game, we're throwing his Lambo into the river, even though he doesn't have it anymore.
That's obviously
nuts. But what I'm saying is like it got to that level of threshold of like, dude, we hate this guy almost. Like we do not like this guy at quarterback, and completely flipped it 180 on everybody tonight.
A big part of playing quarterback are those intangible qualities that and tonight you saw it from him. You saw. Kirby's talked a lot all year trying to talk him up and counter the narrative. Said, he has poise, he stays calm. And like, you don't see that really, during the games. You see him on the sideline looking sad, and you see him pouting, and you see him not feeling good about the situations, kind of yelling at teammates. If there was a miscommunication at the line.
Or you see him smiling and then...
or you see him,
right.
That too. Yeah. Or you see him smiling when they're getting their ass beat.
Right.
And tonight it was just, and I guess there was that, Holly Rowe had put out earlier in the week that, he had spoke to the team. He's not comfortable with being vocal, but he thought it was important. It seemed like tonight was a step in that leadership of, him stepping into a leadership void that I think this team has been missing. And, maybe this is the first step where he's like, okay, I have to be comfortable. That old cliche, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And, and if that's what it takes, that's what it takes for him to, really become the guy, that leader that, you really hadn't seen him be for most of the year.
Sure. Right. And then last thing before you guys let me go, because I'm sure you guys got
we got some others, but we give you your time, DDB.
What do you guys think about what happened around the country today? I mean, I don't know if you're paying attention to this BYU game, but I mean 10-10 going at time and Provo at night.
It's 10-10?
10-10. Okay.
I got Kansas plus 3.5, so I'm keeping my eyes on that one.
Yeah, Vegas knew something with that game for sure.
They did. That was a weird line. All the metrics say BYU, but it's one of those weird lines. Let's jump on Kansas.
Sure. Oregon was playing Wisconsin while the Dogs were playing, and from everything that I've seen, they shouldn't have walked out of Camp Randall with a win, but they did. LSU losing to Florida this is a huge, and I don't mean this to sound repetitive or anything, but this was a huge loss for LSU because they were on the path to be in the SEC championship game. And that would have, I think, skewed how all this would have worked out for the SEC teams in the Final 12. And that kind of gets that out of the way. Doesn't necessarily mean Georgia's going or anything like that, but it gets that 3-loss team that, like we said, like had LSU won out, they were in, right? And it takes that away. So that helps out Georgia, I feel like, be able to get back in that playoff contention, which I think obviously they are now, but just helps even more solidify themselves, maybe getting a home game.
What do you think of Brian Kelly now?
Yeah, that was going to be my next.
That's the thing. Like, this they have to be getting a little frustrated down in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, and then I mean the wide receiver thing at the end of the game, that's not a good look either.
No, where he said he was uncoachable and all that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I saw that live.
Like him yelling at him, like the wide receiver yelling at. I think it was Lacey, wasn't it? Yelling
something. Yeah, it was not a good look.
Yeah. Oh.
It's not going good down there. DDB, man, we appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, man.
Take care.
Randy Payne, go Dogs from Tifton, GA. I think Randy, he has the eat off the floor in 24 is the quote for this year. He had a really good one in 23 as well. Dane, I'm going to get you in just a second. Let me get Ryan Harrison in here real quick. Ryan.
Hey man, how are you?
Hey, just tell us you're rich without telling us you're rich, man. You got a full blown movie theater basement that you're sitting in. No big deal, right?
I was talking to another guy that said the exact same thing. I'm going to be quick. All right. Look, running the zone read without the quarterback actually pulling and running it. Look at Carson Beck's old film from high school. He can run it. He's not tiny. We let Stetson run it. And when Carson runs that play, it opens everything up. Otherwise, just go in the pistol, right? So we don't know if you're going inside or outside or right or left. But when Carson starts to run the ball, it's not like he's a tiny guy. Like, it works. It opens things up for all of us. So I just, between that and the extra part of the.
All right. Hate that we lost him there. He kicked himself off of the show.
Good. Yeah, that's a good point.
He was making a good point. So let's get Dane Young in here. Dane.
He had a rich movie theater, but not good internet, apparently.
Yeah, internet tore him up. You saw that, Dane. I didn't kick him. You can see the studio. He left on his own free will there.
You only kicked me.
I don't think it was his own free will.
No.
I think it was an unfortunate turn of events.
So I've been into the Hunker Bourbon already. ASW Distillery commercial for them. Yada yada. Distilled by dogs. All that. This was an ass kicking, y'all. Because
Yeah, it was.
Georgia outscored Tennessee 31-7 beginning the second quarter.
Spotted
this was
10.
not close.
Yeah.
Georgia was significantly better than Tennessee. They were significantly better than Tennessee coming into this game. And once I was seeing that they were slowing down the run early, I was not worried at all. Roddy and Donnie can tell you I was as confident as could be that Georgia was going to dominate this game. Plus, man, people are going to go all the way back the other way on Carson Beck. The story's written on this dude. He is so much better at home than he is on the road, and neutral sites are kind of in the middle. And that's the case for most quarterbacks. But I'm talking I'm looking at splits right now. Quarterback rating at home, 172.2. Quarterback rating on the road, 132.5. At home, 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. On the road, 10-10. This is going to be it. Georgia's actually in the perfect spot. If you can host that first-round playoff game, you're going to win it against pretty much whoever you play.
Yeah, it turned into a clinic for the offense and the defense, really, in this game late. And watching Georgia pull away there just showed that this team still has fight, right? Because that was one of the questions that we had last week. Jason, you weren't here, but a great week to miss, right? By the way, appreciate that.
Yeah, just left you high and dry.
Yeah, just the worst of the worst to just not be here for the first part of the show. But no, I mean, it was last week we were like, hey, does this team have fight? Like, are there leaders? Is this a culture issue? And they stepped up, man. They stepped up. Maybe it was just they hadn't played a home game in 37 days, and that was kind of tough.
Maybe. I mean, the thing is that last week was very much they couldn't block. They couldn't.
Yeah, everything that was bad went bad.
Yeah, everything. But it had been a steady progression. That's the thing. The offense had been regressing really to that point where it was all of a sudden you couldn't catch the ball, block, throw the ball, all the normal things you need, or the basic things you need an offense to do. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, Tennessee's got a really good defense. What has been shown over the last few weeks that would signal that Georgia could come out and win the line of scrimmage and give Carson enough time, or Carson can make the right decisions? I mean, he wouldn't speed up, or that he would be accurate with the football, or the receivers would catch the ball, all these things. And Dane's probably right. The one main thing overlooked through this weird schedule where there's been a lot of Georgia being away from Sanford at I guess it's a one long stretch. It's the fact they weren't at Sanford. And so, yeah, it kind of makes sense when you look at it like that. Way more comfortable at home, not doing so well on the road. And, this was a must win for Georgia. And the fact they got it and it came at this time, and now you got UMass and Georgia Tech. You should win those games. I think Tech could be closer than a lot of us want to think, but you win those two, you're in. I think that's pretty much it. And then you get Georgia, you get a home game to start the playoff, and then you got to feel pretty good if you're able to, win that game as well and move on to the Final 8.
To that point, Paul. To that point, if you don't mind.
Real quick. With Carson Beck, let's not forget he was 4 of 12 to start off, by the way. Did not look good.
Drops. If Aaron Smith catches that ball to start with,
they had 2 drops in the first 4 or 5 passes or something like that.
I'm just saying.
The only really bad decision I remember was the corner end zone to Nitro Tuggle. That probably should have been a pick.
Yeah, it was a low throw on the back shoulder. Yeah,
but then the pass to Lovett in the end zone too. He had him, but he kind of lofted that.
That wasn't the wrong decision.
Lovett should have still caught that.
50-50.
Yeah, he should have. He kind of looked and stumbled a little bit.
Anyways,
you're not going to get many rants tonight because of how Georgia played.
Sure,
I got one for you here. Okay.
Oh.
Kirby Smart and Georgia, they're always talking about control what you can control and don't worry about the rest. And yet, you have Josh Brooks going on Feinbaum yesterday and railing against the College Football Playoff Committee, things that are out of Georgia's control. You have Kirby Smart that after that victory makes sure that he tells, was it Holly Rowe, that's like, I don't know what the committee's looking for. I don't know what it is. Well, I can tell you why Georgia dropped in the rankings, and they should have. It's because you played like booty for a month. Your quarterback threw 12 interceptions in a month, and you can't win on the road against really good teams. That's what Georgia's going to be this year. And so to me, I look at that, and I say Georgia was right where they needed to be. It takes one win against Tennessee, and you're right back where you need to be. So all that stuff that you can't control that they kept talking about is so antithetical to what Georgia says it's about. And then they start doing this crap with the black jerseys. All right, fans, black out everything. And then Kirby Smart with the black jerseys here is so freaking dumb. So I listened on the post-game show with DJ Shockley. He goes in there and he doesn't really ask questions. He says statements and then asks people to respond to it because, whatever. But then Kirby Smart said on the post-game show that the home atmosphere versus Tennessee was the best that he had experienced, even better than Notre Dame. And then he joked the only thing that would have made it better would have been if Georgia wore black jerseys. Well, guess what? The atmosphere would have absolutely been better had they worn black jerseys. Those fans would have been juiced from the very beginning. Not that they weren't, but the fans are telling you, we want this and you control this and you're still not doing it. I don't care if you say it's fake juice. I don't care if you say it's hokey pokey. I don't care any of that. That is something that's within Georgia's control, and Kirby Smart's being absolutely dumb with that. And until they just make it he's making it more of a thing than it really is. And it's idiotic. I don't understand it at all. You're not listening to the same fans that you criticized a month ago for not showing up.
Woo. Dude, I couldn't have said it better. I mean, he's 100% right. He's 100% right.
Here's the thing. I personally don't care what they wear, but there's a lot of people who do. Listen to your customer.
He says that he doesn't care, but he obviously does.
Well, he cares that people want it and complain about it, and I shouldn't use the word complain, but they speak up and they when are we doing this? We want this, and he hears it. I'm sure he goes all around and meets fans, and he hears this stuff. He hears the media ask about it, so it drives him personally crazy. Well, guess what? Why does it bother him or anybody so much? It's just a jersey,
right?
If the fans like it, if the players like it, just do it.
Chase Langford says, "Wait till Georgia rumors the wearing of the icy whites." that is the next step, right? Because they have those for the recruits, the icy whites. Nobody's said those yet. Jonathan Eaton says, "Preach." Let's see. How about them dogs? Said the Reds looked fantastic tonight. Sure.
They didn't even do a massive fan campaign, and you saw that aerial shot. The fans were all blacked out, other than the Tennessee fans. They were craving this. They were doing what they could to help Georgia be better, and Georgia comes trotting out there in the red jerseys, which is fine. They look great. It's college football tradition or whatever. But if you wanted that place really rocking, where Tennessee was going to struggle from the very beginning and maybe not get down 10-0 the way you were, that would have helped. You may still have gotten down 10-0 because you're right, Jason. It's a jersey. It's not going to make you play better. But if you're trying to build the atmosphere to be just a little bit better, 1% better, the fans are trying to be elite, and you didn't help them.
Dog 85 says, "Look, your jersey color's the problem, then we have none." He's right. He's not wrong. Jeremy Neighbors has agreed. The Bama game aside, they've had success in the black jerseys. They've worn them twice under Kirby anyways. His first year against Louisiana and 2020 versus Miss State.
It's funny though. He picked the worst opponents those seasons. I feel like
watch him run out next week against UMass at 12:45 kick, and they're in black jerseys. It's like, oh,
did they wear them against Cincinnati in the Peach Bowl?
Yes.
Ooh, yes,
I think they did. Yeah.
They did.
But all right, so here's the other piece of the rant here. All right, cool. Sanford Stadium had this big impact. You're a much better team at home on the road. You have to freaking get rid of these neutral site games that Georgia's actively signing up for. I'm including Jacksonville in that. That's absolutely absurd. Get it out of here. Like, that needs to be – you're going to be better against Florida if you're playing them at home every other year. I promise you that. And I know they haven't had a problem with Florida or whatever. That game at home would be significantly more fun than what Jacksonville is. Clemson and Atlanta, get the hell out of here. Like, we're done with that. Like, if you're Josh Brooks and you see this and you hear Kirby Smart raving about his fans against Tennessee, you can't sign up for any more neutral site games. I don't care how much money it costs you as a program. Screw that. Like, build up what you have at home. Make it to where people hate coming to play in Sanford Stadium.
Yeah. Too much money.
I would love the Georgia-Florida game to be home and home.
Those are things that are within Georgia's control.
They are.
And they're choosing the wrong decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the wrong decisions, I'm going to get rid of this overlay and actually 4-box this with Brent Rollins. That's probably the wrong decision, but here we are. Brent, what's up, man?
It's a better 4-box than what was available on YouTube TV today.
Oh, see, I have Hulu still, so I haven't switched over. So I don't get the 4-box.
You need to make that switch, Paul. You definitely make that switch.
Yeah.
This felt like it was like the Dumb and Dumber game right here. Like when he got the little bike after getting rid of the van, totally redeemed yourself.
Yeah.
Every the coach and the way the feelings, the quarterback, all of that. That just took me back to that game. But by the way, I'm just sitting here in awe of Dane's rant right there. That was.
Hey, look! If you're gonna be
top notch, 90 PFF grade right there.
Yeah, if you're gonna be on one side of the argument, at least have a good argument, and you had one. I feel.
I didn't think you were gonna have enough ranting tonight, Paul. So I wanted to bring something.
Yeah, you did. You did that for sure. What do you got, Brent?
The same 5 offensive linemen played the entire game.
They did,
and he was sacked 0 times, and barely pressured, barely touched. That was phenomenal. And one, I thought the biggest thing, one play may have changed the entirety of the season. And I think it will be the play of the game tomorrow. I don't know. Dane and I haven't actually texted about this, but
the scramble
when Tennessee decided to jump off sides, Carson takes a shot and Lovett makes a play, a contested catch situation, and he makes a play. It was like this elephant, like whatever was on the shoulders of the quarterback of Beck came off. He looked that, and then the run when he got hit and he kind of trucked the kid after he broke the couple tackles. Those 2 plays, he looked like a completely different player. The rest, like the entirety of that game, because you come out in the first play of the game and you take the deep shot, and it gets dropped, and then you're struggling and you're pressing. It felt like, if they don't make that play to Dom and then go score a few plays later, that game, Tennessee gets off the field there, it's 10-0. Like, it just felt like the weight of everything was going to cave, and that play happened, and then everything went from there a different direction.
Yeah, and then you had the scramble not long after that too. That was, but you're right. I feel like almost that offsides was like giving Beck the ability to free up a little bit, and it was a free play, right? I mean, they say go out, but that's how we saw Beck last year. He wasn't worried about things. He was slinging it down the field. Tonight they get that offsides, and it's like, all right, let me, nothing bad can happen from this, right? As long as nothing bad can happen from this, so I'll go out there and throw this ball. And you see him throw it, you're like, damn, dude, where's that been? And then he kind of opened up he got loose, if you will, after that.
And that's why, like earlier in the week, tweeted out, put it on the dog vent about sort of if I were Bobo, this is things I did. They did 3 of the 4. A lot of early down play action. Same 5 offensive linemen played the whole game because that was one of the things against Ole Miss. You're like looking for answers and you're just rotating. And then you get communication issues that just makes it worse. And obviously you could tell, I think Green was just not healthy.
Yeah.
And so now you got 5 healthy guys, the 5 healthiest guys we have. And then boom. And then the last thing I put on there was chuck it. You have to just take shots because defenses were very much just sort of, I guess, compressing you. And the threat of it has to be there. Even if you don't complete it, the threat of it has to be there. And they did it in spades tonight. Like, I mean, they got like the throw to Bell. Okay, fine. The Nitro, by the way, that was one where I was like, ooh, missed that one. Because he cooked the DB off the line of scrimmage. They even showed the close-up on the replay there. But you've got to take those chances, and I think it just opens up everything. And then as Roddy tweeted during the game, and I'm not saying that because he's hanging out in the background, but the weekly tweet about tight ends, hey, welcome back to the offense in a big way tonight. So it was good to see. That's what you expected to see. I think that's what you thought you might see all year was that level of play.
And Brent, I thought it was important for to show the confidence in Carson Beck in the passing game because that's the team's identity now. You're going to run for a little bit, but you're going to pass for a lot. And to go to Arian Smith on that first play of the game, when everyone in the world's saying, take the under on this game, it's going to be a slog, it's going to be running and field position. Nah, that's not how Georgia's going to win games this year. You're going to lose games that way.
Over barely hit, but they also covered the spread, which is crazy. This is also the most wild comment we've had on the Overreaction show tonight. JP Petch says, Jason Butt looks like that friend that asked you to be a job reference for him, but also needs to borrow a dime bag from you too. That's
people ask me to be their job reference.
yeah. If you only
knew
the other part.
Yeah,
if you only knew what Jason did during the day, you wouldn't say that. But I think it's pretty funny though. Ryan Harrison says, felt like Beck had time with O-line blocking for him to make more rotational throws instead of so many off-platform throws under pressure, i.e. Cam Ward.
The offensive line play was phenomenal, but it's also a combination of that and play calling and how they mixed up a lot of things. You combine that, you get a comfortable quarterback who knows, hey, I don't have to keep my eyes down. I can keep my eyes downfield. Like you saw a completely different player.
But how crazy is it though that I've said this 3 or 4 times. I'll probably say it 3 or 4 more times once Roddy gets on here and everybody else. Tennessee knew Georgia didn't have much semblance of a running game, right? Like you're relying on Nate Frazier, Cash Jones was in a boot earlier in the week, Chauncey Bowens, who barely, I think he had 3 or 4 snaps prior to this game, right? Like there's not much there. And yet Georgia was still able to be effective. And then you had Dylan Bell go out, and then they switched to this 3 tight end set that they stayed running for a while. Like, I think it's even more impressive what Beck was able to do in Bobo and the offensive line. Tennessee knew every play was like, if you're going to actually gain solid yardage on us, it's going to be through the air. So we're going to have to stop you through that. And they just couldn't do it. That was the most impressive part to me.
There wasn't really much that wasn't impressive.
Yeah,
honestly, the throw that he missed Lovett in the corner, like he didn't catch it obviously, but I think he also missed the throw a little bit, kind of threw it a little too far. But other than that, there was not much. Like that was a Beck redemption game. Beck wins back the entire fan base. However you want to frame it. I think that was that. The one other key play to me. And this is me being a special teams nerd because this is what I do for PFF primarily. The tackle by Thorson. Holy freaking cow.
Yeah, it was a big play.
Humongous play. And it was he looked like a legit football player on the play.
Somebody
shed the block, along. Explosive, all that.
They asked if he could play star on the watch along.
Nice. Nice. I mean, no, that what was the score when that happened? I can't even remember. But they held them to a field goal right there. So it was 7-0. I want to say.
Yeah.
And
I think that's right.
I mean, it could have been 14-0 quick had he not, made that tackle. So That was a huge play for Thorson. And you saw he held him on the ground a little bit longer too. He was like making sure that everybody knew it was him that made that happen. Impressive. We didn't really see too much of Peyton Woodring tonight. You had the one for 36. That was it from him. But again, still consistent talking about special teams.
First bad snap they've had on a punt all year, by the way. The UCLA transfer kid that's the long snapper.
Yeah.
That was. I think it was one of the ones later in the game. Low snap. First one really all year.
The short punt.
Yes. Yeah.
Jeremy
they kicked out of bounds.
Do was mad someone dared return one of his punts. Is that the first punt return?
I don't think
they
so.
had one. There was one other return for I think 2 yards, or it was a very short return earlier.
This is by far the longest return Thorson's had against him.
Yeah. For sure.
So he finally got to show off his tackling ability.
The other thing I thought was interesting was Kirby's demeanor the entirety of the game. Like in all those interviews. Now, like during the game and the actual gameplay, you could see him getting fired up, things like that. But all the interviews, all the conversation was just even the whole and it was kind of like we've done what we've done. We're going to be what we're going to be. And we got these are who we got. And chips fall where they may. So I'm just going to kind of chill and stay calm. I thought that was a very interesting from him.
Real quick, Brent, before we get moving to the next here, and you're doing a show with Pollock now? That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's just me being free help to the neighbor.
So he says thoughts about Chaz at fullback on the last touchdown.
You're not borrowing a cup of sugar. You're doing a show.
yeah, right. No,
it is
cool.
fun.
I see you guys doing it. Yeah, so
it is fun, and him and I have coached football for a long time together, and he is my next door neighbor. So that
we get it. You're rich. Your next door neighbor.
No,
we understand that. We get it. Right.
No, that has nothing to do with that. Trust me. There are levels to this thing, Paul. Very much levels to this. But Chaz on the last TD, I would assume it's because Micah Morris was hurt.
Okay.
Right. It's not necessarily a choice.
Isn't that crazy how you have Micah Morris, but then the backup to Micah Morris is Kirby looks around at practice. He's like, all right, Micah's hurt. He's like, that's Chaz.
I like it better.
Chaz.
I like it. I mean,
hell of a lot
better. Because
Thorson's next up.
Well, you can throw it. You at least have an opportunity to the thought of throwing it to him. Or any sort of play action, or going wide, toss sweep. It's much harder to go toss sweep.
Well, and also with that too. I mean, it caught Fowler off guard. He called out Cash Jones. So maybe because they were the same number, they're both white. Maybe Tennessee, maybe Kirby's like, hey, they think it's Cash going in there to block, and it's Chaz instead.
There's a whole sleeve of tattoos.
There is
a big difference.
He has the tape on the back of his arm, but yeah. Fowler was like, it took Fowler 3 replays to be like, oh, it's Trambless, so
there was a lot of interesting things, I think, from the commentary tonight.
There was
rules misunderstandings, some commentary from other, not realizing what the review is,
I wonder if Herb Street doing the Amazon
has too many jobs.
Yeah, doing the Amazon game is really messing him up. He's been terrible on the NFL game. He's been terrible this year. I know he's been a friend of the UGA Sports.
But he's also got to be up at 6 a.m. to do the show in the morning too.
I normally enjoy him. I do, and I just think that this year it's not been up to standard.
Well, you can tell that he just doesn't get to watch as much football. I think that's what you can tell more than anything, and that he's more. No, just happened to be.
I know he's a friend. He's a friend of the friend of the podcast, as they would say.
Well, Kurt did tell us in the middle of his Thursday Amazon thing and College Game Day, he always flies back to see his kid's high school football game. And so it is a gauntlet of a stretch.
Yeah.
But good on him.
And his son plays for Cincinnati St. Xavier, so I'm very familiar with that area and all the high school. That's the high level of Ohio athletics, or Ohio football, much like sort of 5 and 6A here in Georgia. It's big time football that he's watching and going back to watch on Friday nights for his kid.
So. Paul, I'm about to bow out, but I'll give you 2 observations on my way out. One, before I do that, Hunker Bourbon, ASW Distillery. Go get you some. I've only had 1 drink. I don't know why I'm doing that. Jason's right. when a team's back is against the wall and their season's on the line and the playoffs begin now, that's a very dangerous spot for anyone, especially if they're the home team and someone else is coming in. Georgia ran into that buzzsaw last week, and now Tennessee ran into that buzzsaw this week. So start trying to identify which teams are in that spot, or even maybe which teams can play spoiler, like Florida did today, and knock out all LSU's dreams. Like, I'm looking next week. Is Texas A&M really that much better than Auburn? Yeah, but Jordan-Hare Stadium has stolen some dreams before. So that's not a fun one for Texas A&M to go take care of business.
Hey, Ole Miss has to go to Florida.
That's not
next
fun.
week.
Lagway is causing problems.
Yeah.
So
the SEC is just amazingly drunk, and I love it.
Yeah, and so I think this is the new
going
normal with this playoff. And Georgia found itself in a good spot by the end, but it took that game at Texas to get to this point too.
Hey, Georgia Tech is no layup.
Yeah, those mobile quarterbacks, man, they're kind of hard to deal with. I know I have people waiting, so I'm going to get out of here.
All right, Dane, take it easy, brother.
I'll let the boss man come on.
Last thoughts from you, Doc?
Just there's no place like home.
Yeah.
Like, when you come home, like it matters. It matters in a big, big way.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does indeed. Brent, thank you so much. Sir.
Later.
Then there were two. Roddy, you good? Are you on the phone? You good? Bring in Roddy here. Jason, I guess this is your chance to bow if you'd like.
I mean, sure. if you don't want me here, I'll leave.
No, I would love to keep you the whole stay another 2 hours with us, baby.
I can stay for a little bit. I'm still waiting on content. We don't have anything in yet.
Okay. All right.
We got some other late night folks in William and Trinity and Raleigh Dog. They're all
real quick before we bring William on. Roddy, just thoughts on this game.
I did predict Georgia to win the game on my Friday column, but then by kickoff, I'm like, they're lose this game. I was telling everybody they would lose, and they're going to lose. They're going to lose. And sometimes it's a reverse jinx, You just prepare yourself for it. And I'm like, there are going to be 3 losses, and it's going to be nothing but fire Bobo. Beck sucks. Kirby's stupid. It's the end of the era. And I was mentally preparing for that. And then they had the first 3 drives. I'm like, I was right, you sons of bitches. Those first 3 drives are god awful.
They were bad. They were really bad. Then you lost Bell, and then you were like, man, there's no running back depth. There's no wide receiver depth. London Humphreys is looking over this way. The ball's going this way.
Penalties, drop passes.
You randomly just see Nitro Tuggle in the game. You're like, okay, yeah, I guess it's Nitro time. Who else can physically catch a ball for Georgia? I think I want to say I even saw Cole Spear in there on the play. Like, they threw everybody out there. They were just like, do you play wide receiver here? You want to turn? You can get out there if you'd like.
Yeah, I put out a list partway through the game of injured players. It was in my column earlier, and Georgia has lost 12 starters over the season. Now, they're not all out now, but at various points in the season, they have been out. So you're down, your top 3 running backs are out. You lose one of your top wide receivers. And on top of that, we can talk about everybody who was, pressed into service because you lost so many guys. You have regressed at a lot of positions.
Oh, yeah.
So the guys who were supposed to come back and who were supposed to be better this year or have not been.
And those guys even got hurt, Roddy, and so you're having to go to the guys that backed up those guys.
Right. So you're going up to you're playing the guys who couldn't beat out those guys, And I was in a negative headspace because I'm like, they can't run the ball. They're one-dimensional. That's what Kirby does to other teams. So you've got a great defensive front that's only going to rush 4. They're going to drop 7, basically. And who the hell are you going to throw to? Because they know that's what you can do. So then there a couple drives for Tennessee looked great. I mean, 10-0, boom, right down. It's like, okay. This is getting out of hand. And again, I know everyone wants to complain about the offense, but it's the defense that's killing me. It's like, really? God, you're just getting manhandled, and you can't stop anything. They're attacking you. They're basically looking at who's the star, and we're going there. They're not throwing on Julian Humphrey as much, although I don't think he ever came back in after that. They weren't attacking you downfield on the perimeter just like Ole Miss did. They said, no, we got you on the inside short routes. And they just hammered you on the inside short routes.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with Georgia and how they blitz that A gap. It just leaves that middle of the field wide open. And if they pick up the blitz, which a lot of these teams do, it leaves that middle slant just wide open.
Exactly. And they got you there and they said, okay, hey, every time you have a safety in coverage, we're going after him. Every time you have a linebacker in coverage, we're going after him. Or, hey, look, there's Daniel Harris. We're going to go after that guy too. That's called some of those. But point being, it was I'm just like, this is not going to look good. And that's how it started out. But then you just started having one or two plays, and they built up. And what Kirby's been telling us, he goes, this is a good football team. We're playing tough competition. We're going to have that. And Georgia just kept getting in its way, kept sputtering. But they are better than Tennessee. There's no question. And even without all your top playmakers or without your guys being as good as they were, the talent gap and the coaching gap, Georgia got its ass out coached last week. Both sides of the ball just got humiliated. Today, the shoe was on the other foot. Mike Bobo called a brilliant game, despite some of the guys not doing what they're supposed to. Glenn Schumann had answers. He had absolute answers for him. Hell, even special teams. You guys were talking about there was one return that was a screw up, but Brett Thornton drops him like an Aussie hammer. I loved it. So a big win for Georgia. Smart play. What's the word I'm looking for? Validation, because I did not think Georgia had it in them. And I started going back through, you barely beat Kentucky. Even in your best game against Texas, you should have scored 50 and not 30. You only won. And remember, we were on here complaining, why are you people mad at only beating Auburn by 18 points? That's a hell of a win. But it just, you let Florida score too much on you. I was just in that negative headspace, and I'll give Dane credit. Dane said, man, Georgia's going to blow their doors off. I'm like, what are you smoking?
Well, I mean, especially after that first quarter
you had, man.
Yeah, after that first quarter, it was like, dude, there's just nobody to get the ball to. This offense might put up 200 yards of offense.
Which again, I get that, and that's fair. But the defense isn't stopping anybody. And when Kirby comes off and they go, Kirby, what do you need to do? He's like, it's the same thing after the Alabama game. At halftime, when they ask him, he says he's not complaining about his offense. He says we have to get a stop. When I hear 30-7, I'm thinking, where's your offense? He's like, no, the bigger issue is our defense, because that's supposed to be our bread and butter. So he kind of challenged them today, and then all of a sudden they started playing really well. And I was just very impressed how they bounced back. Kirby said they were resilient in that first remember the Kentucky game?
Yeah.
You barely win. Kirby goes, this is a resilient football club. And I mean, that sounds like some coach speak. But he said, no, they weren't down after the Alabama loss, because, they came back and could have won it. And they were humiliated after the Ole Miss loss. But he's like, no, these guys are going to bounce back. And they did. So I don't have the mental strength, the fortitude, the faith that they have in themselves. So hats off to them. Big win. I do want to know now, will Tennessee – Jason, well, they dropped 9 points in the rankings.
Probably. They should at least fall to 12.
I'm just saying that was some bullshit to drop from 3 to 12.
Pretty crazy.
So if you're going to drop, then I thought I did tell everybody Josh Brooks was going to be on Feinbaum the other day, because I found out about that. And I knew he was going to say something about the committee. And he comes out and says, hey, the committee's complaining about Georgia being inconsistent. Well, I think the committee's ranking system is inconsistent, and he was right. So let's see if they're consistent this week. If Georgia jumps up, and Georgia should be behind Alabama and Ole Miss, I get that, but Tennessee should plummet, and Georgia should be safe. Although I'm going to be nervous as hell about Georgia Tech for no good reason.
Because I just saw a thing came in for you, Jason, a ping, if you will. Before you leave out, where is Georgia ranked? Let's play that game real quick while we've got all three of us here.
I probably need to look at, you can't
You don't get to look.
We'll just go for probably 10. We'll say 10.
No way. They only jumped 2 spots after this game?
I need to look to see who they jump ahead of. You're not just going to jump ahead of I don't know. You should jump ahead of BYU no matter what happens. I mean,
You should jump ahead of Miami.
Should jump ahead of Miami. Probably Indiana. So maybe 7 or 8. Maybe they jumped to where it's to 7. That's where Tennessee was.
Cool. What do you say, Roddy?
In the AP rankings, Tennessee was 6.
Right.
See, Roddy looked, yeah.
Yeah,
You
right.
wouldn't let me look.
Hey, fuck, I gotta look this stuff up. I'm old, man. I don't remember.
Where do you have them?
I'm with you,
Jimmy. You got to put them ahead of BYU, Notre Dame. I'm just going off the AP ranking. Tennessee was 6. They were the lead team. You know, one of the top teams in the SEC. This is your second. Well, this is their 3rd ranked win. Because Clemson was ranked.
Clemson, Tennessee, and Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
So you got 3 big wins. Put them right back at 6.
Yeah, they should jump Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Georgia will be.
But you move. But if you do that, then Alabama, Ole Miss got to move ahead of them too. So I'd say you move those 3.
Do they have to though? Because then you look at strength of schedule, right? Yes, you lost to both of those teams, but you look at the strength of schedule for all 3 of those teams. I feel like a blind resume, right? All 3 of those teams lined up. Most people are picking Georgia in that instance.
Yeah.
With strength of schedule and all of that.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's going to be tough. They should definitely jump ahead on Miami and Notre Dame. I could see if BYU holds on and Indiana didn't play, they're undefeated. They should, but they probably wouldn't, given 2 losses. They should be ahead of Notre Dame and Miami. I mean, the resumes aren't comparable with strength of schedule. All right, but I better go. And I'll let y'all get more people in. It's been a pleasure, and we'll talk soon.
See you, Jason.
Thanks, Jason. I do want to mention real quick our friends at ASW Distillery. That is the Hunker Bourbon. The reason I bring that up right now is December 4th is signing day. Proceeds of Hunker Bourbon and Hunker Vodka go to Georgia's NIL arm. You know, they can't have an athlete from the team promoting it, but they do take some of the proceeds and a large chunk of the proceeds and give it to Georgia's NIL. Georgia had a lot of top players on campus today to see that atmosphere, to see those fireworks, to see Georgia's defense get after them, to see Georgia's offense score in the high 30s against one of the nation's best defenses. A lot of guys that they would like to sign on December 4th. I'm not asking any of you to write a check. I'm just saying don't buy Tito's vodka. Don't buy if you want to buy Buffalo Trace, that's fine, but also buy Hunker Bourbon. So if you want to replace the bourbon and vodka in your tailgate, do it with the ones from ASW. 5 of the 6 founders are Georgia graduates. It's distilled by dogs, for dogs, and they will write the 3rd big fat check to Georgia's NIL efforts.
There we go. Boom. Willie Carlin, we got him coming up. Mr. Carlin, how are you, sir?
Good evening, gentlemen. I am great. It's great to be a Georgia Bulldog, man.
Did you go to the game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's why I called in, because I hadn't heard anybody that said they'd been there.
No, you're the first.
Fantastic. We have pyrotechnics now.
Yeah, how was that? They didn't show us that. I say that we got to see the smoke, the after effect on TV. We did not get to experience the lavish that you did.
Okay, so everything around the rim is lined. Okay.
Okay.
And so the first shots were Star Spangled Banner, rockets, red glare, bombs bursting in air. That was the first shots, and they've got red. They come up. They come up in like like 3 going up from each spot. They come up red, yeah. And then they've got white coming up that's got the little glittering sparkle stuff in it. And so, the Star Spangled Banner was the first ones, and then every time they scored,
yeah, we saw it when they scored. Yep.
Every time they scored, they set them off, and then. Of course, between the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Right.
And then they went around the stadium with them,
Yeah, I figured they had to do a good. I figured they had to do a good bit of them because, like I said on TV, it was it was a little smoky there for.
Yeah, they
almost
shot
the whole
up. They
drive.
shot quite a few between third and fourth quarter,
Yeah.
which was cool.
How was the atmosphere in there though? It sounded pretty good on TV.
Okay, I'm going to show my old ageness. I know they spent $10 billion on the speaker system on that Jumbotron, but they don't have to play a song between every play. I mean, it got kind of irritating there, but that's what they do. The crowd was in it. The crowd was crazy. And I mean, even like you said, during the first part of the game, when we just was stinking the whole field up, and, Tennessee's that first drive, Tennessee just blew straight through us. And I'm going, uh-oh.
Yeah.
But the crowd stayed with it, and it was loud. And it was great. And like I said, I appreciate riding because listening to y'all, I was still riding back home listening to y'all in the diatribes about the black jerseys.
Yeah.
And then when I got here and turned this on, nobody's got black on.
Yeah, Roddy's got it.
Roddy showed up.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate.
I'm the only one that can read the damn memos, man.
Ain't that the truth? But yeah, it was great, and our boy, he's the first one that picked out Julian Humphrey's been on the sideline since that pass interference. I said,
Yeah.
he has.
They sat his ass down, and I said during the game I would throw on him every week.
I thought the drive at the end of the first half to tie it up was huge.
Yeah,
because Tennessee, we caught back up, and then Tennessee came back and went ahead with 2 minutes left, and then we blew down the field and tied it up. Didn't score the touchdown, but I thought that was huge to tie that up at that point in time.
Especially with them getting the ball back at half too.
Yeah,
I think that was
like,
at least get some points on the board, which they did, was huge. Who compare this game for me? We got a bunch of other folks, and I don't want to keep you too long, Mr. Willie, but compare this game for me for sound-wise compared to that LSU game. You know that the one with Mettenberger. That's the crown jewel. That's the one everybody talks about, right? Is the Mettenberger LSU game? Was this up there with
15 years ago?
Yeah, but that's the one. I'm telling you, that's you ask anybody.
Loudest I ever heard that place.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was there too. Like everybody's like, that's the loudest I've ever heard.
It was equal. I think. I mean, it was all right. Let's do it this way. It was equal to that Tennessee game 2 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was.
And we got, we did get 2 false starts out of them in critical situations.
That was that false start there where
only 2. It felt like there were 3.
I know the big one was that 4th down where they were about to go for it, and they got that left tackle to jump off.
That was play of the game.
Yeah, by far. And then they had to punt the ball. That was like that changed the whole concept of the game right there.
I would have said dagger.
Yeah.
There was a 3rd and like 2 that we got them. And backed them up, and they didn't get the first down. But yeah, those were good. But yeah, 90% of the crowd was in black.
It looked good on TV.
Georgia crowd.
Yeah, it looked good on TV.
Yeah, I think the recruits loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They came back. Usually at halftime they just stay back in the lounge or whatever.
Right.
The bulk of the recruits came back out.
There was a damn football game on, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah. But usually the recruits at halftime go back, into that lounge, and I'm sure that's a pretty nice place to hang out.
Yeah.
And they go back out in the second half. But they all came back out pretty much. That was great. What else? I mean,
well, that's a good point. Benjamin Aaron says Tennessee had 3 drives of 15 plays and only got 6 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, to the all right, I'm different from everybody else that I've heard y'all talking. I thought last week, Ole Miss, that the defense had played well enough for us to win that game if the offense had showed up, holding Ole Miss to 28 points.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think, I didn't think we could beat Ole Miss unless we scored 30 points.
And had you scored 30,
I know they looked like crap.
I thought both of them sucked.
But I know. And so the offense sucks. The defense allowed the 28 points. And the offense was bad. And then today, like I said, I thought the defense, they just couldn't stop. What's his name? The running back.
Samson. Yeah.
Samson. They couldn't stop him. He was and
they stopped him enough in the second half, but in that first half, he was running through.
Yeah, you spot them 10 points and you don't let them score but 7 the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So they played well, but they couldn't, But yeah, it's a big redemption night for Carson. Obviously, I saw what I would say 2 bad throws.
Yeah,
and
compared to last week or the week before, like your 10 to 12 bad throws.
Did he have 3 tip balls?
Had 3. Yeah,
he had 2. I know he had 2 tipped at the line at least. Maybe
3.
A third.
Yeah.
3. But that was just the guys.
He's too short to play quarterback.
6'2", man. Yeah.
No, that's that.
Although
I
do remember in Alabama, Stetson had like 5 bounced off the back of heads.
Right.
And
all we heard for a whole damn year was he's too short to play quarterback. He'll never beat Alabama.
All right, Yursick on the last drive. Yursick goes out of the 1.
Nuts.
And I will say,
because we're in the same seats and he's in the same seat. Turn around and started bitching about Bobo. Well, they got past Bobo's play calling tonight. And I'm like, well, you're kidding me, man.
Dude, fuck you, man. It is the lowest common denominator in football to blame the play calling. It is easy.
That play took some stones right there because everybody in the stadium thought you were running that thing. And then you have Yursick come across the formation right there and throw that like that. Like,
remember when Georgia was on there on like 6 and the first play was a throw to him out of the end zone or basically off line of scrimmage. I'm thinking, okay, they got to pound it out of here. He throws it to him on the hash, and now they're up and going. So again, I got problems with Mike's offense and some of the schemes they do, but to me, it's just like with the defense. When Glenn Schumann calls the right play and you don't tackle, that's a you problem. Glenn put you in the right spot. Georgia missed a lot of – they missed a lot of tackles. They just had a lot of yards after contact. They got dragged. And I'm like, Schumann is calling a brilliant game compared to last week. Make the blank tackle when you hit him. Kirby started the game, says, we got to tackle this guy. He said it right before the game even started because he knew that they were going to be in the right position, but this guy breaks tackles. And it's the same with people. You get mad at Bobo. Bobo calls a bomb on the first play of the game. Aggressive downfield. It's dropped.
Yeah. It's like,
So what do you? And if you want to blame Bobo, fine. But you're an idiot if you do that because that wasn't on him. That's on Aaron.
Okay, all right. Tell me this because we couldn't really tell the pass interference they called on Arian Smith.
Yeah, he pushed off. Yeah.
Okay.
Man, he barely, dude.
No, see, here's the thing. He had full arm extension on it. He pushed off. He didn't have. The thing is,
he made the motion, but he did not redirect his body.
He didn't have to touch him at all. That dude was.
I know he didn't have to. I'm agreeing with you.
But yes, he for sure. Like it's on their side. Yes, absolutely.
Now, if you look at it, he pushes like that. His arm goes out like that, but you didn't see it affect.
Correct. No, sure.
The guy didn't get shoved, so you could have a push off, but the push-E was not pushed. And he didn't push and slide.
What that ref is
separating.
What that ref is looking for is that full.
Oh, I know. Hey, it's the same with a lot of holding call or pass interference. We're like, let's see how your hand did.
Yeah.
You know? What the joy of this, William, is the Tennessee fan boards are freaking the hell out over bad calls. They're bad calls. They killed us. I'm like, oh, if anybody has been there recently, let me know.
Yeah. Oh, God.
The 12 men on the field was crazy because it looked like he had gotten off. If you looked at where Carson, like I said, when Carson got the ball in his hands, he was off. It's when the snap happens though, and he was still on the field. That they were up,
and they're still mad about the incomplete pass.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then
that was the greatest incomplete pass of all time.
hey, Mr. Willie, don't you love how Kirby says those are the what does he say? Those are extensions. Those are just runs. Those are extensions of the run game. I'm pretty sure he was pretty happy that was an actual pass, not a run.
He was the first guy yelling incomplete pass.
Yeah,
they was on it, and so like that happened, and we're kind of oh shit. This guy 3 rows back going incomplete pass, hollering out loud, incomplete pass. I'm like, what? Seriously?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh damn, how about that? But,
I didn't think about it at all either. I was like, oh, that sucks. Because my thought was, oh, Frazier could have picked that thing up. That's what I was more like mad about, was he had a chance to take that to the house. And then they were like, they start looking at it on TV. I'm like, what are they looking at? And the announcers don't really know either, Mr. Willie. So like everybody's just kind of like, well, and then somebody, I guess one of the statisticians in the truck, relayed it to Fowler and was like, it could be an incomplete pass. And Fowler was like, well, what about an incomplete pass here, Kirk? And we're like, oh. Yeah, you're right.
All right, now back to the guy getting off the field.
Yeah.
So they're showing it on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
And they stop it right before the snap.
Nice.
So I don't know if they were saying if they show it till it snaps, it show him going out of bounds before they snap or what, but they never would show it on the Jumbotron. And then they came out, said he was out of bounds type of thing, but they never showed it. They stopped it right before the snap, so you couldn't tell anything on that. But it was a great night. It really was. Appreciate y'all putting me on and
Mr. Willie,
that kind of thing.
As always, we appreciate you, and we will talk to you. Well, we might talk to you for UMass. We'll see you Black Friday for Georgia Tech.
Hey, that's the other thing. Nobody has figured out the black uniforms come out on Black Friday.
That's got to be what it is. That's
what we've been saying.
Hey,
see you, William.
See ya. Right, good. You got to just make sure you wash your black clothes tonight. Unlike Fran Brown, who he doesn't bathe if they lose. They lost again tonight, Roddy. Syracuse did, so he cannot bathe again.
That's TMI, baby. TMI.
Hey, that's him. That's not us. Let's get Trinity in here with us. Trinity, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing tonight?
Doing all right, man.
That's what's up. I mean, everybody has said, pretty much everything. Like, we really can't complain too much, except for I got a few complaints and a couple of theories. And I'll start with the complaint it's really with Carson Beck. I don't understand why he hasn't learned how to pump fake. Like, that's the most easiest tangible thing as a quarterback that you could do. It's like, in basketball, you could pump fake, and it's very effective. For him to be 6'4" and have so many batted balls, he can pump fake and it wouldn't mess up your rhythm. It wouldn't mess up your timing. And I was like, a lot of passes he could pump fake and that would block off the timing of the D lineman. And I'm like, has no one talked to him about, doing that? All the great quarterbacks do it. Not all the time. You don't have to do it all the time, but that would be a really easy tool for him to have, his passes not batted down so much. So that's one. Two, I feel like our run game, they should really talk to here's my thing. They need to talk to the coach, to the coaching staff from the Falcons, how Nate Frazier has really good potential. I think he's really good. And I think Chauncey Bowens, how the Falcons use Bijan. I'm not saying Nate Frazier is Bijan, but he has the potential. He's very electric. He's really quick. Tyler Algier, he's a one-cut back. I can see them trying to do that with Chauncey Bowens. He's not as electric and as agile as Nate Frazier, but he could do one cut and go. And the Falcons have one of the best running back tandems in the NFL. And I'm saying they can copy that scheme. to help alleviate or to help manufacture. That's what I'm saying. Because now, I mean, obviously we are down 3 running backs, so you have to use the rookie running backs. But what I see is that they got real good potential. That's why we got them on the team. They're very highly rated prospects. Like people act like they're some trash people. Like, no, Georgia we are running back you. We recruit the best. It's not about the talent level. Is that we just lack the leader. We don't have good mentors at that position, in my opinion. Now those are my complaints. I could talk about all the drops, but
God,
we all look that it's the running story every week this whole season. I really am a big fan of Nitro Tuggle. When I saw y'all, like when I watch everybody scouting and everything, watch the shows, and I'm like, Nitro Tuggle, he seems like one of the most electric wide receivers that we have recruited recently. Like, he's really electric, and I'm surprised that we haven't used him a little bit more. And also the running back / wide receiver, I can't think of his name that we got. He's a freshman too. It may be. I think, did he go to Pebblebrook last year? Dwight Phillip. I don't know. Maybe he's not there yet, but I feel like he would bring another. He could really help out in the backfield as being a change of pace. We could do a lot of screens with him. Like, here's my thing: doing screens does not take talent. Does not take a lot of experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at Evans. Why can't we use Evans in screens? He's one of our fastest players. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got Humphreys, I get it. He was somebody we got in the portal, but he drops the ball a lot. And Evans, he hasn't had that problem, as far as we've seen at Georgia. He
has in practice.
Okay. And
not trying to put him on blast. I'm just saying, I asked about it, and I'm like, what's going on? They're like, he's got some drops. He did have some drops in the games too. So, I mean, it's everybody. But I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's very funny how some players are practice players and then some players are game players. It's very odd how that happens.
Not in Kirby's system.
I get it. As far as our defense, I felt like one critique is if we keep on getting gashed up the middle and we're not getting pushed as far as stopping the run, you need to put 4 of your best run stuffers, and it is what it is. I know we may have to sacrifice the pass rush, but when we're getting gashed and we're getting moved off the block, if you're not good at run blocking, number 10, if you're not good at run blocking, we just gonna have to go big, because we was getting gashed up the middle. Like, that was just crazy to me. I'm like, where's our linebackers? We got 2 linebackers in the middle of the field. We got 3 down linemen, and then the outside edge, and we're not even getting beat on the outside. It's just right up the middle.
There was a play where they double teamed, and then the guard climbed to Raylan Wilson, sealed him off, and they scored from 27 yards out. I mean, that's exactly how you draw it up. And man, you got to see that guard's coming for you, and you got to challenge that block. And you presented him your side, just got sealed off like a wall.
That's what does with Alabama. Alabama, like, this one thing that frustrates with Georgia is that Georgia, every single time that we get gashed, like you said with Raylan Wilson, it's always the same formation. It's always the guards pulling, and Alabama kept doing that. And then guess what? You change the formula in the second half, and you stopped them. I don't know why Georgia doesn't do that in the beginning, because they're not doing trick plays. It's not a very creative as far as running the ball. The opposing team's run game. they're killing us on the same exact kind of formation every time. But that's my critiques out the way. I'm sorry. It is positive we won, but it was just real small things that it's a fixable problem in my opinion. It's not as difficult.
We appreciate you, my man. We had to have a little bit of overreaction, and you brought it. Nobody really brought too much overreaction. I appreciate you bringing a little bit of it tonight with us, man. Thank you so much.
All right, bro.
All right, bro.
Appreciate it, Trinity. I thought Trinity had a good point on some of his things there, but like with the run game, how to use those freshman running backs, the one cut. There's nowhere to cut.
No, there wasn't.
Georgia, every time Georgia, I say every time, but a lot of times when Georgia ran inside zone, and you're looking for that cutback lane, it ain't there. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay. And then how do you, I get how he wants to use them, but you got to block that. And those screens, you got to block those screens. And here's the thing about the screens. It's dangerous because you're going sideways, not north and south. People always say, attack the edges, attack the edges. If attacking the edges is the way to go, why doesn't every offensive coordinator attack the edges? The problem is when you pitch it, toss it, run to the edges, you're running sideways first.
Yep.
The potential for a lost yardage play is 100 times higher than just running up the middle, running off tackle, running behind the guard. A lot of times people, why are we running up the middle? Well, you had numbers. You had 5-on-4. You're supposed to be able to run up the middle. 5-on-3, you should be able to run up the middle. And then when you don't, you lost. Yep. So you had a hat and a hat or a hat and a half on a hat. And that's what kind of drove me crazy. It's like Georgia's not had a run game all year. They averaged 3.4 yards a carry tonight. Again, it was one of the best defenses in the nation. I'm not taking anything away from them, but it is. You were asking a lot of Carson Beck. You were asking a lot of those wide receivers if you're pretty much one-dimensional, and right now Georgia is.
You had 4 rushes go over 10 yards. 2 of those were Carson Beck scrambles.
That to me made the whole difference of the game. You want to know why Georgia won today? Those legs. There were 3 drives he kept alive by running and scored a touchdown.
Absolutely. Let's bring on Raleigh Dog here. Hey, I'm gonna let Raleigh Dog come on with you. I gotta use the bathroom really bad, but I know Raleigh Dog and Raleigh Dog's a great talker, so I feel like I could leave him with you.
I think that's a compliment.
It is. It is a compliment. Up here.
Paul, this has got to make he's gone now. I'm talking to Roddy. That's got to be maybe 3 out of my 4 appearances on the show. Paul leaves to pee.
It's like
I don't know if we have a stat running.
I don't know what to read into that, but I'm a little.
I guess he thinks that I can do his job for him for 5 minutes, maybe.
Well, because he doesn't want to miss Gary. He's like, screw Raleigh Dog. I don't want to hear what he has to say. Like I got to be there for Raleigh Dog and James Caraway. I gotta hear those guys. Raleigh Dog, screw it. He's a musician. Who wants to hear what a musician says?
Yeah, we know nothing about sports, right?
All right, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I it's probably been said, but Carson and Bobo both were in their bag tonight, and when they're in their bag, we're hard to beat. And I love it so much for Carson. All the things people are saying that he was finally himself and what everybody predicted he could be. But since this is an overreaction show, I think he may have played himself back into the first round tonight.
Ooh, that is an overreaction. I like it. But you're right. He did. Throw that he punched it in on London Humphreys. It's like, I don't know if you can catch this, but I'm going to shove this ball so far into your sternum that you have no damn choice.
I'm sure people are going to kill me in the comments for that, because that does not negate how upset we've all been, myself included, with Carson, his demeanor, his whatever. I mean, just top to bottom, he's just been so – I told someone I feel like our quarterback left the building about a month ago. And tonight he was very much back in the building. And if you're just looking objectively at that, you know, these throws that he made. The first touchdown throw to Delp.
Oh, that was beautiful.
His best throw of the year, in my opinion. Much of what we didn't complete was not really on Carson, from what I could tell. A lot of drops, obviously. I just thought Carson was elite. I mean, he was making NFL throw after NFL throw.
Well, let's look at it this way: 25 of 40, 347 yards.
Yep.
347. 2 touchdowns through the air, 1 touchdown running. 4 drops.
Right.
So 25 of 40. Now you have 4 drops. The throw out of the back of the end zone.
Yep, which was a good play.
Good play. The other throw in the red zone, threw it out. So 2 throwaways.
Yep.
3 tip balls. Now you can blame the quarterback on tip balls. I don't.
Sure.
I don't say, hey, that's the quarterback nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Who was William talking about Bacon? You know.
You can blame the quarterback. You can also say to your guard or your whoever the offensive lineman is to get your hands on him. Like, you know, that some of that is on offensive line too, to keep a defensive lineman's hands.
Dude, we were taught if the guy we were blocking knocked a pass down, we were going to run. He jumps up and all that rib meat.
Oh, we're going to run. I got you.
We were going to run after practice or after the game.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to watch tape on. We're coming in Sunday. We're watching tape or Monday morning or Monday afternoon. And I know that if I played against Heritage High School and one of the guys knocked down an Al Sadler pass, I'm running. I'm rolling. Grab your face mask. Start rolling. You know.
Yeah. I'm just telling you. If once we go back and really look objectively at some of these throws he made tonight, and it was more than just the throws. I think the fact that he was on time, his mechanics, for like
stepped into those
throws.
Like
the first time he was stepping into throws, he wasn't throwing off his back foot, and he was confident. He made good decisions. Listen, if we get this Carson, or even 75% of this Carson the rest of the way, could be very interesting.
I think you need this Carson the rest of the – obviously not against UMass, but you need him against Tech for sure. You need this Carson. And then obviously anything after that, you need this Carson, over 300-yard Carson.
I think that now I'm very cautious with this. I'm trying to go positive first. I think this actually could be. So I got in trouble thinking Texas was the turning point. I thought Austin was the turning point where we're just gonna kind of, you know, Kirby even said it after the game in the locker room. The jet engine is taking off. You know, we're taking off and we're getting better on offense. We're getting better on defense. But you know what was different about tonight? The reason I think this could be the turning point is, in Austin it was all about the defense. Tonight was all about Carson, and the defense played well tonight, but tonight was all about Carson Beck. And if you can somehow get him to for this to be a turning point, then you get the Texas game defense and the Tennessee game offense, and Georgia beats everybody who's left on their schedule.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
But now
we only see them in every 3 or 4 games.
Nobody lives in an ideal world, but you know what I'm saying. But the potential is definitely there. We have reason to believe, at least.
I'm with you there, 100%.
Now I'll say, I'm still not confident that will happen. I've said all season the thing that I hate the most about this team is I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no clue. You know, tonight, even down 10-0, I'm like, the last nail is just about in the coffin.
Yeah, those first 3 drives, what were you thinking?
Well, the first 3 drives were like the same offense that we've seen, the same tendencies, the same predictability. It was the same old Bobo, it looked like to me. And I know that's maybe unfair to put it all on him, but everything after 10-0, you know, outscoring maybe the best defense in the SEC, maybe the best defense in the country, maybe one of them, along with Ole Miss, outscoring them 31-7. That's not a small deal, man. They
didn't give up 20 points all year.
Yeah.
And they gave up 31 tonight.
Well, this fan here says, "You are our daddies. I bet y'all can't still smell the shit we left on the field in Athens. Thanks for putting us hypo hopefuls out of our misery." There's a Tennessee fan for you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so one you guys know
They're always classier than the Florida fans.
Yeah. I got a Tennessee fan relative who I will see at Thanksgiving, and I can't wait. But y'all know the music thing for me, the music connection. So I was talking to one of my friends who's big time in country music as a writer. I talked to him after the game, who lives in Nashville, and he's like, "I'm surrounded by Tennessee fans," and he said, "I'm just texting them one by one, and I'm just texting them 2 words.
Go dog. You texting him what?
Still daddy."
Oh,
Jeez.
God.
Jeez.
Hey, coming into this contest, Tennessee was number 3 in the SEC in tackles for loss with 71.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't too shabby. They had 22 sacks.
Was Carson pressured tonight? I know he wasn't sacked.
No sacks, 2 tackles for loss.
I mean, there were a couple pressures, but nothing.
Which kind of leads me to my next.
That's with Monroe Freely. Was this his first start? Not first start.
Maybe so.
But definitely the first time he played the whole damn game.
Right. And that was going to be my next point is, man, I haven't really heard this much, and I haven't been on. I came into the backstage here pretty late tonight, but what else is new? But offensive line deserves a whole lot of love, man. They played really well. That's a very good front. And I know, and I know Roddy, you are criticizing the run game, which I understand, but holes were there. It seemed like all night there were hole after hole, and Tennessee's just their run fit is just really, really good. They were closing holes when it seemed like Frazier might bust one. They were closing gaps the whole game.
I would have killed for a 13-yard pass behind those linebackers filling those run gaps.
Yeah. We almost got one with Cash, I think, if I remember.
There were a couple times where they hit him on a crosser behind him. I'm like, man, and I want to give Carson Beck credit. He saw them. They ran 2-man, 2 high safeties, man under, and he just took off up the field. I'm like, that son of a bitch is going to run for 50 yards.
Yeah, crazy.
He runs like a giraffe, man.
But Carson really has.
He willed that game, man.
Man, he has some good vision when he runs the ball too.
He ran in high school like a crazy man.
Yeah, I thought that was a big plus. Maybe last positive thing. Athens was elite. I wasn't there, but I talked to a lot of people who were there. It all started with the game day kicker today. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, they made the kick. Yeah,
he didn't just make it; he would have made it from 50. I mean, that kid destroyed that ball. That was just very interesting to me.
Good omen, yeah. Good omen.
Yeah, maybe so. Like it seemed like fans in the atmosphere in the stadium and was elite. All the, the energy was just different. The team just looked different, man. It just looked like a winning team to me. It looked like a possible championship team, which I thought we were. There's no way that's who we were last week.
We looked like an SEC winning team through the first quarter.
Yeah,
right.
Looked tough.
Yeah. Here's my question. I don't know if it's been talked about, but this was a massive recruiting weekend, and to think about what all those players got to witness, also a big deal.
Oh yeah,
huge deal. Yeah,
fireworks for the first time. Entire stadium in black. Defense making plays, offense making plays, and the most important thing, when they weren't, like we mentioned how Georgia started off so slowly and poorly. Now the defense was getting gashed. You know what you do when you talk to those kids? You're not embarrassed by that. You can walk up to them and go, "This is why we need you."
Right.
See how what do you play? 8 freshmen tonight or something like that?
It was a big number.
We need you to play now. We don't wear. Hey, CJ Wiley, I know you just flipped, but we need some wide receivers. Hey guys, you see, we're getting number 12 is getting torched on downfield passes. We need you to come be a cornerback here. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman. When people think, oh, well, they lost the game, that's going to cost them all their recruits. Hell no, it doesn't, because the recruits are like, well, I can go play there.
Well, don't think that what they did get to witness tonight, though, wasn't a big deal. I mean, it's probably best case scenario for what could have happened. I know a 14-point win at home is not a blowout, but it felt like a blowout for what this
team. At the end of the game it did, yeah.
It felt like this was a dominant win.
Hey, it's a 14-point win over an arch rival.
Over a top 7 team.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we're giving enough credit to what we did against that defense, especially that defensive front. Because
1,000%, and you had no running game. You had
right, and we didn't have a run game going in.
Right,
and they neutralized that within the game. But other than that, they really were neutralized. That's
I'd like to raise this point that Tennessee's pass defense is 3rd in the SEC,
and they got 350 dropped on them.
Yep.
Against a team with no wide receivers who leads the nation in drops.
Running out of a 3 tight end set for the whole second half.
I texted a couple of my threads during the game. If you can drop a pass, commit a penalty, or get injured, you can play for Georgia.
Yeah.
That's kind of who we are.
I think we've lost Roddy. I don't think his face is just staying like that permanently, Raleigh. I'm gonna remove him just for posterity's sake. His face is frozen here. I'm gonna get on. Hold on. Let me bring this guy on real quick to help out. There he is. Hey, Ben.
Oh,
Ben.
You can hear me, Paul?
Yeah, I can hear you. Let me see.
Okay, good. I never always mute myself every
time. Get Roddy back in here. There he is. Your face was just stuck. I thought you were smiling. Yeah, I thought you were smiling for a little while, and I was like, okay, all right. But no, Raleigh, final thoughts. I want to get to the next couple of guys real quick.
Yeah, I think the play of the game was the ball that London Humphreys caught by accident. You can't convince me that was on purpose. I think he was shocked that he caught it, just like the rest of them.
I don't think he had a choice.
Yeah, it was just perfect placement, I guess.
He shoved it in his chest so deep, there's nothing he could do.
There's no way you can convince me that wasn't by accident. But this is a big deal. BYU is also in trouble right now.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Oh,
no. And so to that point, the last thing I'll say is, how dumb does the committee look now?
We'll see what. So I didn't ask everybody, but I'll ask you real quick before we get James Caraway on here, and Gary's up next after James. Where's Georgia? Where's Georgia sit now? Come Tuesday.
11, maybe 10.
Damn.
If BYU loses 9, I mean Jason was saying earlier, no one lost in front of us except for Tennessee. So I think Tennessee goes to 12. We go up 1. If Kansas can pull this off, which now I'm looking at it, BYU's about to score with 2 minutes left. But I mean, I don't know how we're any higher than 10.
Well, here's my question. So Tennessee and Alabama are going to have the same record. Tennessee beat Alabama. So if we're doing head-to-heads, you're going to have a million different head-to-heads in there.
Right.
So how are you going to decide? I think the head-to-head this year is kind of going to be thrown out to a degree. Because my big question was, I know Oregon held on. If Oregon would have lost, would they have dropped them below Ohio State with the same record? I mean, Oregon would have lost, and they're within a spot of each other. So they probably would have dropped. So to me, the head-to-head is kind of bogus, especially this year. You look at Texas. Georgia beat Texas, and Texas hasn't beat a ranked team. So this whole committee, I don't understand what their criteria is this year. Is it strength of schedule? Is the head-to-head factored in? Because I know for a fact if Oregon would have lost, they would have dropped them below Ohio State despite the head-to-head. Today, Tennessee has a win over Alabama, but Alabama has a win over Georgia, and Georgia has a win over Tennessee. So how are you going to weight those three? To me, Georgia's the best strength of schedule, and Georgia beat Tennessee handily. And before I get into the game later on, Georgia should have won by more scores. If that touchdown at the end of the half is a touchdown, that's 4 more points. If Delt doesn't drop the ball, they score on that drive at least 3 or 7. So they win by 3 scores on Tennessee. Bama lost them, and Georgia had Bama on the ropes. So to me, between those 3 teams, Georgia should be ranked the highest. They have the best schedule, and they look the best between the 3 teams in those games. And the other tricky thing is Ole Miss. Ole Miss, to me, looks like the best team in the SEC so far, but they also have 2 bad losses. LSU sucks, just flat out. They're bad. And Kentucky's one of the worst teams in the SEC. They lost to both of them. Now they beat Georgia.
You say that beating Kentucky on the road is a big deal for Georgia. You can't do that anymore. Kentucky's horrible.
Yeah, Kentucky stinks, but at the same time, Ole Miss lost them. So how do you judge that? So this whole thing with the strength of schedule head-to-head, I don't know how the committee's going to do this.
I mean, I agree with you. It just seems like you would go to, well, what are their losses and how does Georgia not have the best resume, when it comes to that, which I know resume is the word. I thought it was really interesting. I don't know if you guys saw this on ABC after the game. Kirby and Laura Rutledge took a little jab at the committee in the post-game interview, which I thought was really interesting. Because Laura Rutledge asked Kirby, she was like, what kind of statements does this send to the committee with where they have you guys situated now? And Kirby said, I don't know, because I don't know what their criteria is. That's a jab. And then at the end of his comment, all Laura Rutledge says is, well said, which is also a jab.
Right.
BYU loses.
Yeah, BYU.
BYU
is about to drop to 21.
Yeah. Okay, so I would like to amend my.
No, you too late.
Yep, too late.
I would like
Raleigh, man, we appreciate you, Raleigh. Thank you so much. Next time I want to hear you play something on that keyboard.
All right, we'll get to that. Appreciate y'all. Go Dogs.
All right, bro. See you.
We know that's just for show.
Yeah, it's just all show no dough. Yeah.
Hey, I do want to mention our friends at the Rogue Shop. They have some fantastic things for our viewers here. The Rogue Shop is a mom and pop operation. You have Richard and Charmaine. It's their company. It's the 2 of them. But they have a Delta 8 cannabis advent calendar and a Delta 9 calendar. These things are pretty cool. You open it up and there's something behind each one of those for every day of the year. That's a pretty neat concept there. So you got time. It's November 17th. So you can get one. That way you'll have it by December 1st. And you can try it from our friends at the Rogue Shop. Again, they have a Delta 8 and Delta 9. If you have a situation at work where you get drug tested, try the 9. Don't do the 8. And use promo code Bulldogs10 BULLDOGS10 to get 10% off. That also lets them know that you saw it on UGA Sports. So they've been supporters of our show and our website for 4 years now. So I've had a lot of our customers who have used them and swear by them. If you have chronic pain, if you have chronic insomnia, check out our friends at the Rogue Shop.
Love it. Let's get we'll get James on, then we'll get Gary on after that.
Sure. However you like.
Let's get James here.
What's up, guys?
Mr. Caraway. The floor is yours.
I think going off of your guys' rankings talk, I think they move up to 10. I just can't see Georgia being put ahead of Ole Miss or Alabama, especially considering how the Ole Miss game went. I think Tennessee clearly will fall behind Georgia, regardless of them beating Alabama. And I still think there's a couple more teams. I think Texas is going to lose at Texas A&M, and that's going to hit Texas hard because they're going to have to fall behind Georgia. And I think Notre Dame loses one of their last 2. And it's important because you see Carson is a completely different guy in Athens than he's been on the road. So I think you're in a desperate position where you need to at least get that 8th spot and get a home playoff game. If you win that game and then your neutral site thereon, this team has playoff experience. You never know what happens after that.
I think how this plays out, James, if Georgia does win outright, I find it tough for them not to get the home playoff game. I don't see them not being, I mean, obviously not being like 5 or 6, but what is it, 5, 6, 7, 8?
8.
All get a home playoff game? So, I mean, 8, you're teetering, I think, best case 7 or 8, right? And you get that home playoff. That's the goal moving forward. You have no control over that, like Kirby said, though. So,
because I think the committee is going to put Ohio State and Penn State within those first 5 through 8 spots. Committee's going to put Ole Miss and Alabama ahead of Georgia, and then we're best case 9 unless one of those teams, Georgia or Alabama or Ole Miss, wins the SEC championship. So I think that's really best case for Georgia is one of those teams end up winning SEC, and then you get yourself a home game.
Here's the crazy thing, though, James, is that we talked kind of all week leading up to this and last weekend too. We're like, can Georgia even make the playoffs, right? Like, can Georgia actually beat Tennessee? And after the first quarter, it was like, I don't know if they can beat Tennessee. And now it's completely 180'd from last week's talk, even from the first quarter tonight. It's like Georgia's in the playoffs now. Is that where this team, like, we feel confident enough to, obviously with UMass, it's one of those games, but with Tech, it's still going to be a tough game, but we feel confident enough after watching them play against Tennessee that everybody's back on board.
Yeah, they're a playoff team. I think today they still can't beat Alabama or Ole Miss on a neutral site. I just don't see it happening. But they can beat a lot of those teams, other top 20 teams. I don't see too many teams. I'm not worried about Oregon, Ohio State, any of the Big Ten teams at all. So, get into the playoffs and let's.
I'm glad you brought that up, Roddy. I was going to look for that too. Oregon, they're decent. They bring a little bit of fear to me, Roddy. Ohio State, where'd it go?
Sorry.
Ohio State, no. Texas, you've already beat them. Penn State, no. Indiana, still don't know what Indiana is yet, right?
They're going to get crushed next week against Ohio State.
You got BYU, who just lost. Tennessee, who you just beat. Notre Dame, who has lost to Northern Illinois. Miami, who probably should have 3 losses. And then you have Alabama and Ole Miss, which you alluded to, 2 games that you've obviously lost. So, what, 3 teams ahead of you that maybe are scary?
Alabama. I'm still scared of Alabama.
That's what I'm saying. Alabama, Ole Miss, and probably Oregon would be the.
Honestly, I think give me Georgia and Ole Miss again, and that game comes out completely different.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I do.
They didn't play with their best receiver or
running back. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Georgia didn't play with its best guard, who had 103-degree fever. Your number 1 running back only played a few snaps because he's beat all to hell. So, yeah, I mean, you can play the who didn't have what a lot, but also a lot of that was scheme, and you were not expecting them to. You were expecting them to throw on the edges and go after the perimeter. They went into they hit you on the inside stuff over the middle of the field, and you never corrected for it. I would expect to see a completely different outcome now that you've faced them once before. You can scheme for them. Now they can do the same. They can, hey, this is how we got them. This is what we can improve on. But I see Georgia having a completely different outcome. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to beat them by 30, but I wouldn't be as scared of them in a rematch as I am looking at Alabama, just thinking there's nothing you can do to stop Milroe when he's on. I mean, he had a godlike transcendence in that first half of the Georgia game. Everything he touched was just perfect. It was like, and that was the fear. Would he turn it on? And we say with Georgia, as goes Carson Beck, so goes Georgia. Same with Alabama. And when he's doing what he can do, he's different. That's just on fear-wise.
No, I know you guys all love Jalen Milroe around those parts.
I like him.
But even with him going crazy, Georgia had a lead late in that game. Ole Miss's defense suffocated our offense. And Tate being back, I don't think changes that too much. I don't think Carson gets sacked as much. And when Trevor's been in healthy, we can't run the ball. This is, we talked about this after Bama. I think Georgia's identity is Carson. You got to go will us to 31 points like he did today. And the tight ends being highlighted were great because the receivers are the receivers. And I think as long as he can sit in the pocket and not worry about getting crushed and the O-line being serviceable, we have a chance. And, I saw QB power, and it was like CJ Stroud against Georgia. He finally just I'm just going to throw everything out there and see what happens.
We got Uncle Lou in the building. Says Bobo for broils. ... Keep hating. There he is. So this is how it looks, or how it looked last Tuesday, right? BYU just lost, so then that's going to go, I don't know, here it is. Third highest ranked conference champion, Big 12. So then that will move Miami up to 30. Where's the next conference champion?
It would be BYU still at 4, them or Colorado.
BYU just lost.
Yeah, but they're still either them or Colorado is going to win.
Or Boise State.
But they would drop, probably more than likely to drop to 12.
But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be. We all thought it had to be the Power 4 conferences. It doesn't have to be. It could be a group of 5 that's ranked higher.
I don't really like Boise State or Tulane. I don't think any of them will end up.
I'm just saying Boise State could get a bye because of that. It doesn't have to be the Power 4 conferences. So that's all. That's my take on that. So it'll look a lot different next week for sure. But that's what it's looking like now.
Rough. All right, James, give me your other thoughts.
Defense. I mean, we made a change at corner, and still not a ton of pressure, but enough pressure, and everyone, that's just blue collar Georgia defense. I thought the whole game was just kind of a lunch pail game, and that's kind of what this team is. And I'm cool with them winning games like that, because this is how they're going to win games here on out.
Has to, yeah.
I want to give Daniel Harris credit. Kirby was asked about him in the postgame, or I'd say postgame. This was 2 things Kirby Smart said after the game. He said, that atmosphere was electric. The only thing we could have made it better is if we wore black jerseys. I'm like, you shit heel, man. Come on. That is a excellent trolling. I love it. I love to see Kirby turn heel with get a wrestler on game day. He's like, okay, I'm gonna play the bad guy and start trolling folks. I loved it. But he also said I think he was asked specifically about Daniel Harris. He says, yeah, Daniel's really come on. It's amazing what he's learned to do once he decided he wanted to learn to practice.
Well, it wasn't. Didn't Daniel?
He hadn't bought in. He wanted to do it his own way. Remember, he almost transferred.
I was going to say, didn't he? Wasn't he in the portal or no?
He and Julian Humphrey both.
Yeah.
And Kirby talked to both into coming back, and he was ready to. I mean, they just weren't using him. I knew he was going to get. They were going to go after him once on the sideline. He did a good job and helped out over there, but you got to do it Kirby's way.
I'll tell you one guy who Kirby lit into a lot tonight, which shows me that Kirby actually thinks this kid's going to be really good. Chris Cole. Chris Cole got.
He's a true freshman, man. Like, hell yeah.
Yeah, he got lit into 3 or 4 times on the sidelines tonight by Kirby. Kirby was like teaching him during the game, and it was like, yeah, this kid's going to be special. Because Kirby's not going to waste his time if he's like, yeah, you're not going to, Chris Cole's going to be good, I think.
Well, I'm curious because we've seen a lot of true freshmen play and a lot of revolving doors with the corner. What we're hearing about Ellis, I'm just surprised with all the opportunity for corner that we haven't seen him, of all people, get substantial playing time, and a lot of these other true freshmen have.
Yeah, what's the story with Ellis, Rodney?
Well, I mean,
is there a story?
If you're playing cornerback, you got to be able to help out with the run. Because sometimes you're the last guy on that side. He has never lifted weights. They don't lift weights. The DBs at IMG do not lift.
Really?
That's a quote directly from him. He's like, yeah, we didn't lift weights. So he's got to get stronger. Also, Julian Humphrey, as much as I made fun of him, saying that I would throw on him all the time, this is one of the top guys, coming out of high school. Daniel Harris is really good. Those two guys and Dalen Everett was like three guys for two spots. They do make mistakes, but they make fewer mistakes than a true freshman at cornerback would. Kirby likes to right off the bat, he's leaving his guys on the island. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna leave them out there, see what they can do. And he's good. He's had some plays, but it's if one guy's 59% successful and the other guy's 55, who's he going to play? He's going to play the 59% guy. So you could be splitting hairs, but he's going to split hairs with the guys that he thinks can get it done. They grade individual stuff, not even 11-on-11 or 7-on-7. They will grade how you go through your individual position drills. And if Ellis could hit the field, then he would.
He's got to be next man up behind Daniel Harris. That's at least how we saw it when he did get playing time. He was behind Harris. So
yeah,
I would assume we'll probably see him next year, right?
Hell, you might see him next week against UMass.
All right. I like that. I like that segue. And I like we have James here for this. How many plays we see Gunnar Stockton, or do we see Rashada, or do we see Puglisi? Do we see any of them against you? Do we see any of them against UMass? Period.
I think so. I mean, you got to keep. If you rely on Carson this much, why are you going to keep him in harm's way? That's my only thought. I don't think Kirby's afraid of Gunnar playing good and fans start bitching again. You got to let Gunnar and Rashada play the second half. I just think
right. So with Carson playing as good as he did tonight, you will not have the Gunnar talk, right? But do we see any of them, Roddy, or is it just the Carson Beck show? Call your shot.
I thought multiple times this year we would see Georgia be up high enough to bring in Gunnar Stockton, Ryan Puglisi, Jaden Rashada. I ain't taking – I don't know what Georgia team is going to show up next week. UMass just lost to Liberty. Should be an easy 12:30 kick, get up 28-0. Let your other guy, come in and run it the rest of the way. This team, for all we know, next week they could struggle again. Not like within losing, but not look like they did the second half tonight. It's just I'm not going to fall for it again. Fool me 47 times. Shame on you.
So UMass, just so we're clear, UMass is 2-8.
Yeah. They'll have their best damn game against Georgia.
They beat their first game they won against Central Connecticut State. Didn't know that was a team. They won 35-31 and a little close one there. And then their second game they won was against Wagner, which I've only seen as a basketball school. So those are their two wins this year. They did play Mississippi
powerhouse.
State. Yeah, two big powerhouse schools that they beat. They did play Mississippi State. They lost to them 45-20. And then, like you said, they barely lost to Liberty 35-34. Watch out, James.
They scored 20 on an SEC team. I'm just
we could suit up. I think us three could suit up and play some tail end of the fourth quarter with Ellis, and we'll be all right.
They had a tough one against Central Connecticut State, but they were able to prevail on that one. So
I'm being partly facetious, but partly serious too, because I don't know how Georgia's going to respond to this. They have been playing down to their competition all year.
You can't, Roddy. You can't play this far down. Like
they're going to lose, dude. I'm just saying.
I know, but like
I can see them come out and it's like, okay, we're gonna. Hopefully they'll carry it over and do 35-0 first half, and then just coast to the rest of the way, score 10 points in the second half, call it done. But that's what they're supposed to have done multiple times this year, and they haven't.
Good point.
So because they haven't, I'm not going to assume that they will this coming week.
That's a good point.
I agree. The only thing I'll say is style points do kind of matter. at this point of the year. So that is that little extra incentive versus week 3 against Tennessee Tech or whenever it was, when you have such a long season ahead of you.
How many snaps did the backups get against Tennessee Tech?
Didn't Gunner went 8 for 10? So he was 8 for 10 in that game. I don't know how many snaps he played, probably 20 or 25.
Yeah. I'm just saying that the reason I bring that up, I'm like, whatever he got in that one is probably what we'll get in this one.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't see them going past Gunner.
No?
I never see Gunner next to Carson on TV. It's always Rashada. I don't know. Is that anything to deal with the depth chart order, or is just Rashada someone that's in Carson's ear a bunch?
I think Rashada is probably going to be Carson Beck's best man. Not going to let that cat out of the bag yet, but
Yeah, not yet.
But no, it's I haven't seen them together, but then your Carson Beck's a little bit different. He's not the glad hander. He's not Jake Fromm over there or Aaron Murray, talking to everybody on offense and defense. He's kind of in his own little world over there. And my point is, like you said, if he gets hurt, you don't play him too much. You need to pull him. Georgia's not really developed a second string or third string quarterback a whole lot this year. So to me, the more snaps you can get for Carson, great. I would love to see Rod Puglisi. I think he is the future. I'd like to see what Jaden Rashada can do, but I could definitely see a situation where if those guys get in, they're just handing the ball off. But you really need to develop Gunner Stockton, because you're one play away from needing him. And you have not. I mean, how many games has he gotten into this year?
He's gotten into Tennessee Tech.
That's it.
I'm not calling it a wasted year. I'm just saying, if you had to throw him in against Georgia Tech, or you had to throw him in the first SEC championship, or you had to throw him in the first round of the playoffs, that kid is not battle tested right now.
Well, you haven't had a chance to, because you've been in so many close games. So, James, much love, my brother. We're going to get to the next.
All right. See you guys. Have a good one.
Oh, snap. Here comes Gary. You need to tell us about Benton and then bring on Gary, because we might need to sue Gary.
I don't even have Benton pulled up yet. Hold on.
He comes on with such vibrance and colorful language sometimes. So when we get kicked off the thread or get kicked off of demonetized on YouTube, we might need to call Bart Benton to get us back on the.
Let me get this pulled up real quick.
To get us remonetized again.
So we got Benton Law Firm, attorneys at law in Monroe, Georgia. They serve in and around the greater Atlanta area. I actually went to school with Bart. His dad and Bart started this law firm. His dad was a Superior Court judge in Walton County. Bart and his father, like you see there, over 55 million.
Million.
I was about to say thousands. Million.
Dude, they don't get out of bed for 55,000.
I know, right? 55 million recovered in 2024. Hit and runs. We were in a hit and run. He's taking care of us. Yeah, he's taking care of us. So, wrongful death, dump truck crash settlement, as you see there, all those things for Bart and his dad. They do a great job. They will take care of you. Their phone number is on their website, bentonandbentonlaw.com. They, like I said, they're in Monroe, Georgia, but they will service anywhere around the state of Georgia and even in Florida where we got hit. So,
dude, I'll tell you, if you speak to Bart Benton, if you get hurt, just remember, be smart. Call Bart.
Yep. You're
not 30 seconds in that conversation like this son of a bitch is smart.
Yeah. No, I went to school with him. Extremely intelligent. He's also funny as hell too.
He is. He's enjoyable. I love. It's a fun guy to talk football with.
Yeah.
But I mean, you were like, okay, you feel better immediately because you're like, okay, somebody who's a hell of a lot smarter than me is dealing with this.
Yep. That's how I feel right now.
There's peace of mind, baby.
Yep. He's taking care of us right now. We were in a hit and run down in Fort Lauderdale before we got on our cruise. My first call that night was to Bart. He picked up the phone and is taking good care of us. So if you're injured, be smart, call Bart. We appreciate you, Bart. Benton, attorneys at law, big Postgame Overreaction sponsors. So we appreciate them a lot. And huge dog fans, too. Huge dog fans.
Sideways, man.
Gary, we ready? Damn, Roddy.
Hey, I tell you, Bart Benton probably sounds like Gary because he was at the game and screamed his voice out.
Yeah.
He and Gary are going to have about that same.
I need some more of this. I need some more of this drink. That's why I went and got some drink.
I just refilled mine, so.
See, I don't get all the ASW sent to the house, you know. So
I had to buy this. I ran out.
Yeah, I have to get my own. But tonight,
you got a little lean in there. You got the little Monroe lean.
Well, it's funny you say that. Can I show this? We're not sponsored by them. But yeah, we got a little vodka transfusion cut water. We got the little lean in. We got the little lean in here.
How much Robitussin's in there?
Yeah, there's a little bit of tuss in there. We're robo tripping. Yeah. So bring on Gary. Gary, what's up?
Hey guys, how y'all doing tonight?
Hey, can't
We're
complain,
great,
brother.
Gary. Talk to us, baby.
Okay. Before I get started, let me say a couple of things, okay?
Before you get started, let's just say, okay, I got you.
I took notes tonight. I normally don't do that, but I did that tonight to prove a point, and that will become self-evident, okay, towards the end. Okay, now then, am I the last caller of the night?
No, we still have a couple more.
Okay, how much time do I have?
Just fire it off. We got Michael Bishop waiting. We got Hawaii Dog waiting. But you
Okay.
We won't shortchange them.
Okay. Do you want me to bring it real hot?
Bring it.
Yeah.
Don't be a coward.
It's 2 o'clock
in the morning. Let's go.
And Rowdy, I promise I will try my best to watch my language tonight. Okay. But I ain't gonna make no promises. No real promises. Okay.
We don't need to monetize this anyway. You just go, Gary. You got free reign, baby.
Okay.
Drop them bombs.
My dialogue tonight has a title. That title is what I learned in college football today and who knows ball. Are y'all ready?
I'm ready.
I'm about to get y'all's website lots of hits.
Okay, bring it, Habibi. Let's go.
Because I'm about to bring it realer than I have ever brought it before.
I think everybody's so ready right now, Gary. You have no idea.
The build up, man. The build.
But I need to get through my notes to do that.
Okay.
You're edging the shit out of me right now, Gary.
Are y'all ready now?
Please.
I've never been more ready, Gary.
Okay.
Right now.
You were George's offense.
I'm about to bring it then.
9 games.
Okay, I'm about to bring it then. Do you notice anything different about me tonight?
No hat.
No hat. You know why that is?
Because he's going to tell the truth.
Okay, I'm also standing up, which I normally don't do. You know why that is?
Couldn't tell you.
I'm like one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. That's Steve Spurrier. When I get very seriously, I tend to throw my hat.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's how serious I am tonight. Okay, now then, the things that I learned in college football today is, number one, will the real Slim Slady stand up, please? Okay, do you know what that is reference about?
I know it is an Eminem reference, and I would like you to expound, please, before Paul dies.
Okay. Carson Beck finally showed up for a game tonight. For the first time this whole damn season. Okay. Now then, if you'll go back and listen to everything that I've been saying this season, last season, and whenever, go just search the whole the whole web. Sorry, Rowdy. Search the whole web about anything I ever said. I have never said that Carson Beck was not a good quarterback or a great quarterback. Okay. Follow me so far?
Yeah, I got you, Bubba.
My whole point has been this whole season that Carson Beck has been playing in his head, not on the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now then, I take it a step further. If a Carson Beck showed up tonight would have showed up the rest of the game, all the rest of the games of the season, we would be undefeated right now. Period.
Yeah, well, hell yeah. I mean, in your losses, how many interceptions did he have in those 2 losses?
6. Correct?
Correct. I know. I was testing to see if you knew.
Hey, don't test me. Because I dropped some football knowledge on you.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, now then. Everybody likes stats. I normally don't bring up stats. And I have a reason behind that, but I am tonight to prove a point. Okay, follow me?
Okay.
Okay. Number 2. Either Florida is a lot better than everybody thinks, or LSU is a lot worse than everybody thinks.
Could be a little bit of both.
Little column A, little column B.
I think it is a little bit of both. Now, what does that mean? That explains why we had some trouble with Florida this year.
Okay.
Okay.
Very, very fair. Yes, sir.
Fair.
Now then, the third thing I learned about college football today is that most of the teams in the ACC is complete garbage. Period.
That's fair.
Okay.
Fair.
Fair point.
Do you want me to back that up?
Oh, no, you don't need to. I think we all agree with you there.
Okay, hold up. I got to back it up. Give me a minute. There is only one undefeated team in that conference.
That's SMU.
That's SMU. There's only 2 teams in that conference that has hold up. Look.
I can't read your writing either.
There's only 2
Gary, come on.
There's only two loss. There's only two. There are only two lost teams in that conference.
Oh.
Okay, follow me so far.
Yeah.
I've never once strayed.
The rest of the conference is at or near. I mean, the rest of the conference is near or below 500.
Wow, that's terrible.
Okay, the number 4 thing that hold up. The number 4 thing that I learned today: Oregon is not as good as everybody think they are.
Yeah, they had trouble with Wisconsin. How many bullet points do you have, Gary?
10 or 11.
Okay, all right, we're going to 5.
We got time for that?
Yeah, keep going.
Number 5.
South Carolina is better than everybody think they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Liberty.
Hey, you win with defense, man. You win with defense, and they got a defense.
That was number 4. That was number 5.
Okay.
Number 6. Liberty is not as good as everybody think they are.
Yeah. Did people think they were good?
I don't think anybody cares about Liberty.
Yeah.
Okay, I just made a point. Okay.
That's the first point. That's the first point that. Okay.
They did beat UMass.
Yeah, they did beat UMass, and I'm getting to that.
Number 6.
Number 6 is the Big Ten is about the same way right now, tell you the truth. And I'm sorry for all them Big Ten lovers, but the same thing is happening in the Big Ten right now. If you check the stats and the win-loss records,
they're the same as what, the ACC?
No, they have the same percentages of wins and they have about the same percentages of win-loss teams as the ACC.
Okay.
Not saying that they are as bad as conference as the ACC is, because that is not true. Okay.
Yeah, but the win-loss, you got one team with one loss, two teams with two losses, and then everybody else is kind of shit after that. No, I got it.
Okay, follow me so
much
far?
different conference, so that's fair.
Yeah,
you follow me so far?
Yes, sir.
I've never left.
Okay. The next thing I learned today in college football is that no matter what anybody says, the SEC is the best damn conference in football, period, point blank, every year, all year, no year it ain't true, period.
Fair point. Fair point. You're here.
My next point is, if Colorado continues to play the way that they are, winning, Hunter should win the Heisman this year, period. Nobody should be even in competition to him. Do you want me to explain that to you?
I can explain that. The dude's played 1,000 snaps this year.
Okay. If Colorado continues to play the way they are, Hunter continues to play the way he is, winning, if he does not win the Heisman this year, it proves 3 points that I've been trying to make the whole damn time.
So this is a subsection of the main bullet points. We're going
correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I just want to make sure. All right, we're on number 8.
Okay. Number 1, that would prove that the committees that are choosing all this stuff don't know their ball. I'm including the Heisman voters and the playoff committee voters. Okay?
Okay. So we're rounding them all up. I got you.
Number 2, if Hunter doesn't win the Heisman, is the committee does not watch enough football games each day.
Fuck, dude. I can't.
Number 3 is they just plain ass stupid. And that's it. Period. Point blank.
Snorted, dude. You're right. You're right. Those are all points, dude. Fuck. Takes his.
Okay, my next point is all the Bobo haters need to shut the hell up.
Yes, I agree with that.
Do you want me to explain that one? Because I will.
Yeah,
and I
gotta hear it. I gotta hear it.
Okay, anybody who has played at least at the Pop Warner level of football knows this, has enough knowledge to know this. The OC calls the offensive plays.
Correct.
But he is calling them from the head coach's playbook, period.
Fair.
And if the head coach has a problem with what is being called offensively or defensively by that mind, he has the wherewithal to contact either or both of the coordinators.
Yes. Hey, that's my thing. Let me interrupt you real quick. When people say, okay, the offensive line is not blocking or there's drop passes, they won't blame the position coach. They'll say, well, that's Mike Bobo's fault. He's in charge of the offense. I'm like, well, how far up do you go? Because you're going to bypass the position coach completely just to go to complain about the offensive coordinator. Who's his boss?
Correct.
Who's his boss? Well, let's blame Josh Brooks. Let's blame Jared Moorhead. You got a whole list of people that you can blame, but it's funny how if a guy's not doing his job at his position, you jump to the coordinator. Guys missing tackles, we didn't complain about Glenn Schumann being shit at his job. We're just like, oh no, that's Shadira Uza-Deribe's problem, or that's people love to bang on the secondary. That guy from USC is terrible. I'm like, oh wait, no, I thought
no, he's not. No, he's not.
I thought if there's a problem, we blame the coordinator. Oh no, well he's responsible. Well, Kirby's responsible. So again, I just wanted to be consistent. Again, I don't care if you want to blame Bobo, fine, but you know whose fault it is if Mike Bobo's there, who's calling those plays like Gary's saying? Kirby Smart's problem.
Correct. That is my point.
You were 100% right.
Okay.
But he also that's why when I say Kirby, when I say Georgia is 17-0 in the Kirby Smart era, I don't say Georgia is. I say Kirby Smart is 17-0 in night games after 6 o'clock in Sanford Stadium.
Okay, are you ready for me to get back to my list?
I just had to interrupt you there because I want to go on a
rant. Okay, no problem. Just let me know if you need to interrupt me. Because I'm on a roll, bud.
keep going, baby.
I've been meaning to get to this monologue for a long time.
Keep going.
But somebody got me fired up a few weeks ago because I missed last week, but never mind, I'll get to that later. Okay. My next point is most football games are won on the line of scrimmages. Period. Yeah, won or lost on the line of scrimmages.
Fair point.
Do I need to explain that?
Nope. We got that.
Okay. The defense is still missing too many tackles.
Nope. Cheers.
Do I need to explain that?
No, but you need to teach them how to tackle.
Sorry, I can't do that at the moment because I ain't on the staff. Okay. My next point is running the rock. And more importantly than that is when to run the ball. And this has been my point the whole damn time. It is more important when you run the ball than whether you run the ball.
Fair.
Okay. Let me expand on that. Okay. Do y'all know when the correct times to run the ball actually are?
I would love to know when the correct times to run the football are.
Okay. To be able to, I was taught this by my head football coach in high school. And he's one of the best head football coaches of all time, in my opinion. When I was in high school, my high school won 5 out of 6 state championships.
You were in high school for 6 years, Gary?
No, I was in high school. Maybe I stated that wrong. I was in high school 4 years.
Okay.
But the head football coach that I had was the coach of the team, the head coach of the team when I was in high school and a little bit farther than that. Okay. Our team won the state championship. That's Thomas County Central High School.
Hey, TCC, baby. Yes, sir.
In Thomasville, Georgia. The arch rival of Mike Bobo's
Bainbridge
high school football team. Me and Matt Bobo's about the same age. I think he's a year older than I am, if I'm not mistaken, because he graduated a year before me. Kirby Smart is the same age as me because he graduated from Bainbridge High School the same year I did, if I'm not sadly mistaken. Okay.
That would make sense.
Now then, what was I at? Remind me, please.
I think you're on
point. Running the ball.
No, sorry.
Okay. Now then, my point was that the football coach, my head football coach of the team, my team in high school taught me there are 4 times during a game that you absolutely have to be able to run the ball. You don't have to run the ball. You got to be able to run the ball.
Right.
Them 4 times are on first down.
Okay.
Short yardage.
Of course.
To run out the clock.
That's 3.
And the 4th is in the red zone. Period. If you are not able to run the ball during them times, you will lose the super majority of your games. Period. Okay, you follow me so far?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. That's why running the rock is so damn important. And knowing when to run the ball is even more important than actually running the ball is. You follow me so far?
I've never not followed once. You've got to be on like point 11 now at this point, though, right, Gary?
Yeah, and I'm getting close to the end.
Okay. Okay.
If that's good or bad, I don't know.
I'm fine.
Okay. My next point is conference championship games. Anybody has any idea what conference championship games mean now, or is it better to miss your conference championship games or go to them or whatever before I actually get into what I'm getting into?
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry.
I don't think they matter as much now, but no, I want your point.
Okay. Now then, this is the point I'm making and trying to be made the whole last season and this season too. With the new playoff system, the conference championships only matter because of the ranking in the playoff committee. With the playoff committee. Okay, follow me so far?
Okay.
Okay. It depending on where your team is at, it may behoove the team to actually lose or not go to their conference championship game rather than to go and win or lose.
Well, not to win. If you go and win, then you get a first round bye, and that's going to be a good thing.
But what is the first? My question for that is, what is the importance of a first round bye?
One less game you have to play.
No, because if you don't get into the conference championship, you have one less game to play already.
I know.
Correct. So it'll even out. It'll even out.
No, I made this point when they first came out with it. I'm just saying that's what most people say is like, hey, I get that bye. But I'm like, okay, well, you've also had to play an extra game. To me, I'm worried about the team that goes, let's say it's Texas and Texas A&M have a rematch for some reason. They both go, and you have a situation where one team goes and plays an extra game in the SEC championship. They lose. Now they drop to like number 9. They have to go on the road and play again. So it's like you got kind of a double whammy there. So I can see why the conferences have to have that conference champion, because it's so important for each conference to make money on that conference championship game. But I can guarantee you, there's a lot of people who are like right now, if Georgia's sitting watching two other teams play for the SEC championship, Kirby won't be happy. He wants to win SEC titles, but he will be resting. He'll be hoping to get back Dylan Bell. He'll be hoping to get some guys healed up. I mean, look how strong it was to have Smile Munden back tonight.
Okay, yes, that's part of my point is okay, if you'll go back and look and really study Georgia's last few seasons, including their two national championship wins, if we had missed, if we was under this system now, if we would have missed the SEC championship game, them years, which we did one year, we would have been better off. And this proves this fact, that fact. If you study, we would have been better off in them seasons to have the extra day, our extra bye game on the week of the championship game, and not where it will be now as the bye of the playoff round. Because if you study all of this, you will see all three of them years, and maybe even going back more than that, we could have used extra rest to heal players before the playoffs. And that would be the SEC championship. Now, follow me so far?
Gotcha.
Where you can go in pressure into the playoffs.
No, I'm with you.
And I'm not saying that, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that conference championships are not important. I'm just saying what is more important. Our team credo has to be now national championships or bust. Period.
Boom.
If it's not, somebody doing something fucking wrong. I'm sorry.
Gary.
What?
You said the F word.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope I don't get you demonetized, but
at this point, I don't know who's watching this, Gary. I'm gonna be honest with you. I said 10 minutes. You got close to 30. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Gary, you're the man.
My next question is, hold up, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
I got a couple more comments and then a question, okay?
Fuck it. Yeah.
And it won't take too much longer. I promise you.
I don't have to wake up with kids tomorrow morning.
Okay. So most Southern people are backwards in the way that they think about different levels of football.
Most Southern people?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Don't have
us as Southern players, Southern fans, our favorite level of football is high school, college, then pros. Okay.
Okay.
Most of the country, it's the complete opposite.
Okay.
Yeah, true. I get you. Correct. So
I want Georgia to be ranked as low as possible in the playoff rankings. You know why?
Why?
Because that will give Kirby extra motivation to give the players to actually play and show up. Point blank.
It's a danger, because if you have them ranked low, that means they're going on the road for that first game and not hosting it.
Well, I prefer that they host, but I'm just saying, don't rank us higher than what teams are that have don't rank us higher than teams that's beat us. That's
so
what
you want to be anywhere from 5 to 8 is what you're looking for.
correct.
Gotcha.
Okay.
After the SEC championship game, 5 to 8.
Now then, a couple of weeks ago, I missed last week, and I apologize about that.
It's okay.
Because I have a medical condition that causes me. I have a chronic medical condition that causes me chronic pain.
Oh no!
Damn, I hate that, Gary.
And when I miss, that is a reason because I don't like missing.
I don't like you missing either. The folks don't like you missing.
But that is the reason why I miss sometimes when I miss. Okay. But a couple of weeks ago, when I was last on, somebody called me out in chat saying that I contradict myself. And I have never contradicted myself.
I don't think you have.
I base all my conclusions that I draw off of what ifs and stats based on all of my football watching and my football knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. Now then, my suggestion for helmet stickers.
Oh.
Frazier. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Yeah, I didn't know we were going to helmet stickers, but that is the next segment. You're right.
Frazier.
Yes.
Delp.
Who?
Delp.
Oscar Delp.
No. Yes.
He's number 4. He's a tight end.
Walker. And Munden.
Jalen Walker, Smile Munden. Yeah, those are good picks.
Okay. Now then, I just gave everybody a free basic philosophy of football lesson on y'all's channel.
Most people have to spend $49.95 and go to the Kirby Smart football camp for that.
Okay. The next thing, my last point, and it's a question, is this right here. Who is the true moderator of our channel or y'all's channel?
Of this channel here?
Correct.
That'd be Roddy.
With everything I have said and done throughout our responding back and forth with each other, would somebody like to recruit me to the team? Because
you got the
because
knowledge,
my whole point. Hold up. My whole point of the whole dialogue was what? What was my title? That was my dialogue on my monologue.
Oh yeah, you got points, man. You know how to break it down.
Who knows ball?
You do. You know ball. Absolutely. That's why you did half the show, baby. Now,
I just wonder.
And hey, we
that should quieten down my critics in our dead chat.
I got you, Gary.
And that explains everything. And if y'all want more philosophy, stay tuned to further programs.
Stay tuned for Hey, do we need to send you some gummies?
Yeah. Do you want some?
Send me some gummies. Send me some bourbon. Hell, send me some vodka. Because if these damn trollers in our chat keep messing with me, I'm going to need all damn 3 of them.
Gary,
point blank and period. And these people who are messing with me, they are trollers, or they simply do not understand ball.
Hey, Blind Squirrel Report says Gary knows ball. So No, you're getting your.
Did I bring it hot or did I bring it hot?
You brought it hot.
I think it's the hottest you've ever brought it, Gary.
I told you it was going to be.
And it was. You really one-upped yourself, and I appreciate you.
Hey, you ain't saw nothing yet. Like I said, stay tuned if you want to hear it.
All right, Gary, you got to send us your address so that we can get you the gummies.
Oh, one more point that I want to make before I sign off, if that's okay. Because I just thought of something that I need to respond to earlier that was said earlier. Is that okay, guys?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I disagree with the fact that we should not have neutral games anymore.
From Dane's point from earlier.
Yes, because that would be robbing UGA fans away from Athens, and also robbing our athletic department of the funds that they get from them games. Do you know how many Georgia fans are in the southern Georgia area and Jacksonville itself? There are probably more of us here than they are in Atlanta or Athens.
Are you in Jacksonville?
No, I'm in Thomasville, Georgia.
Okay.
Which Jacksonville, my point is Jacksonville is a lot closer to me than Athens is.
No, I'm with you. I went down and spoke to the Jacksonville Bulldog Club. It is the largest Bulldog club in the United States. So I'm just saying, they are very excited when that game comes down every year. There are a lot of people in South Georgia. I got buddies in Savannah, Valdosta, Tifton, Perry. And they're like, hey, I love going to Jacksonville because the game's there. So I'm with you. Now, what'll be Gary, see how many go to Orlando.
Do you agree with me that UGA has more fans in southern Georgia that is closer to Jacksonville than all of northern
I don't know
Georgia combined?
You're right, Gary. There's a lot of them. I don't know for sheer number wise because they're spread out. But my point is,
I don't either. But my point is, there's a lot of UGA fans that is not close enough to Athens to go to Athens all the time.
No, I'm with you. But
I am over 6.5 hours away from Athens. And I'm only 2.5 hours away from Jacksonville.
Yeah. Well,
that's my point.
They're not going to get rid of that game anytime soon. All right, Gary, we got to let you go, my friend.
All right, later, guys. Y'all have a nice day and be blessed.
Be blessed. When I tell my wife, hey, babe, the reason I was up until 3 a.m. was this. Gary, love Gary, man. Gary's an awesome guy.
Gary had 47 points.
Yeah.
On his Rosetta Stone.
Fuck, man.
Who said that? I'm gonna punch that guy in the face.
Dude, straight punch. All right, let's do these helmet stickers. Because I don't think Hawaii Dog is here. I think this is how he watches the show, is he watches it from the backstage area.
Dude, he was a bomb last time.
Yeah, I don't think he's here though. Hawaii Dog, you got shit, there he is. Damn it, man.
You thought you could get away from Hawaii Dog.
Now he just turned it off.
Pop him on there, see what happens.
It's just in stream with audio.
What up?
Oh.
What up, man?
Are you flying a plane?
Dude, remember
you don't know what I'm doing. You don't need to know. But what I can tell you tonight, after Carson Beck scrambled and took that hit, Carson's back, baby. Yes, sir. Let's go, Dogs. Let's go, Dogs. Let's go, Dogs.
I need to know what those rednecks across the street are doing, Hawaii Dog.
They're building their damn Corvette and friends, man. But honestly, guys, like, goodness gracious. Hey, we got to win, man. We're going to the playoffs, guys. Hey, as long as we beat Tech. These motherfuckers are sleeping on Tech. We got to get Tech, guys. We got to get Tech. Hey, Roddy, I want to hug you around the neck. Hey, get these boys ready for. Hey, let them start talking about Tech, man. We gotta get serious about Tech.
Yeah,
and we're gonna get into these playoffs. And if we can get into the playoffs, we can make a move, okay?
I agree 100%, Hawaii dog.
We can make a move, man. Like, I don't know. But enjoy the show, guys. You guys do awesome. You guys are the best. Hey,
You're the best.
I love the HJC version of this. But hey, you guys are the best, man. I love you guys. Hey, aloha, go dog.
Aloha, Habibi. See you later.
Right. I couldn't hear.
I heard most of it. It's an odd little echo there, but hey, it's Hawaii, man. Just the fact that he could jump in, dude, keep your teeth in. We don't need you to pull out that fake one.
I'm trying to get something out in between both of them.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Great show. Idiot.
Hey, what has been the last 45 minutes? That if that is what gets us.
Hey, Gary's in the comment section. Did I drop some knowledge on y'all tonight? Yes, he did.
Hell yeah.
So,
hell yeah.
Hey, I will say this though, Gary and everybody else, there are trolls sometimes that pop up in our comment section, and we should probably I think we can take certain people and assign them a moderator status.
Yeah.
In the maybe get like Jermaine or KC.
I know.
Hey, Casey, thanks for the super chats. You are way too kind. We do not deserve to have you as a friend. We really don't. But so sometimes you have people who come into the comment section, they just crap on everybody. So don't take anything in the comment section too seriously. But although I do like them kind of getting Gary wound up because then he takes notes, baby.
We need to definitely make Jermaine a mod. I made Andy a mod when I was doing the NCAA stuff, but that was through YouTube. So we need to find out. It has to go through YouTube. But we didn't definitely because Jermaine's around all the time. He can help us out for sure.
You know, I've known Jermaine, God, maybe 20 years, 25 years.
Yeah, he's a man.
He's the dude. See him. You couldn't go to the library on campus without running into Jermaine and his fan club. Everybody loves him.
Nice.
My wife thinks he hung the moon. I tell her he's not that nice, but
yeah,
she loves him.
Damn. Helmet stickers.
Oh yeah, you didn't want to give out any last week.
I didn't. No, I did not.
I'd say, screw all you sons of bitches. Nobody gets them this week or last week, but okay.
Numero uno, Chaz Chambliss for me.
You know, that is a insightful pick because a lot of people don't know what Chaz Chambliss did tonight.
Yeah, had 2 sacks, but set the edge tremendously, and then also coming in on that block, just
playing fullback, baby.
Yeah, he just plays wherever they want him. Wherever they want him, he'll go in. He'll go in and play fullback for you on a play.
You remember who has been Georgia's fullback prior to this?
Micah Morris.
Who's hurt?
Micah Morris, yeah.
So who had to learn it this week?
Yeah, Chaz Chambliss.
Who laid that block perfectly?
Chaz Chambliss, yeah.
Helmet sticker, baby. That's a great call.
And then the easy one on offense, I'll go ahead and take it. Oscar Delp, 2 touchdowns for him. Realistically, we hadn't seen him all season. He was there for what, the first couple games, right? And then after that, he was gone. It turned into the Lost and Lucky show. Then they started using Urasek a lot more. And tonight, Oscar Delp, by far his best game of the season. Multi-touchdown game. Was just there when you needed him, especially when Dylan Bell went out. They switched to that 3 tight end set. Needed all 3 of those tight ends. So shout out to all 3 of them, really. Urasek led the team in touches and yards. Well, touches. He had 5 receptions. So shout out to just the tight end group in general, but Oscar Delp gets the big sticker. So
Urasek, Delp, and Lucky had 10 catches between them.
Crazy.
30 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm going to go with Urasek, not only because he led the team in catches, he also got the start.
Yeah.
Which again, this isn't, they're not playing, they're not taking turns on who gets to be the starter. You have to earn it from Todd Hartley. Todd's a different cat altogether. 5 catches, 29 yards after contact.
Mm-hmm.
29
yards after catch.
51. That's badass.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking a shot against Dell, but just in comparison, he had 7. So
but that's yards after catch. So it's not contact.
It's gonna be yards after catch, not contact. I've been drinking too much, but just the fact that this kid catches the ball, turns upfield, and was running for his life. I love the yards after the catch. The yak yardage was brilliant on his part, and like I said, we're gonna knock out some of the easy ones right off the bat. Who led the team in tackles?
Well, it's a tie with Smile Munden and KJ Bolden.
I'm gonna take Smile Munden because he also had a sack, and a pass breakup.
It's definitely different with Smile there. A lot different.
It was. I mean, there were a couple. He had the pass breakup he had was huge. The tackles were big, and then again that sack off the edge killed their drive.
Yeah.
So big fan of getting number 2 back and healthy. He was everywhere. And it's funny, we saw Michael Williams. Remember, I guess it was the Mississippi State game before Georgia played Texas, or whichever one it was. And he only got in for a few games prior to that Texas game. But then when he came back full speed for the Texas game, Michael Williams was everywhere. We saw Smile Munden get in last week for 8-9 plays.
Yeah.
Came back tonight like a man on a mission trying to get drafted. So,
well, it also makes CJ Allen play better too, because it takes some of that I guess stress off of CJ Allen and lets him run free a little bit more. So. Okay.
All right, your turn.
I gave you mine. I only give 2.
Yeah. All right. Well, so you're gonna leave KJ Bolden, a true freshman, off for having 8 tackles?
I only leave 2. You take the rest. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna give one to him. Jalen Walker. I mean, you can give him one because I think didn't we say we pretty much give him one every week?
Yeah, he's pretty much he's got his golden bone now for sure.
Yeah. 8 tackles, 1 sack. That's pretty lights out. But number 17, Dan Jackson.
Where would this team be without him right now?
Go ahead.
No Jonel Aguero on the field at all.
I don't remember seeing him play at all.
I don't know. And he definitely was dressed out because there was a play. I forgot which one it was. It was a throw to the sidelines or something like that. And he was standing right there. He was dressed out. He just didn't have his helmet on. Yeah, didn't see him in there, I don't think, at all.
Because I think about this, we talked about the fact that Georgia plays nickel about 62% of the time. So you have 5 defensive backs out there. 3 of those guys were gone. Tyke Smith was back to visit. Javon Bullard, losing him to the NFL is tough. Kamari Lassiter, a lockdown corner. You replace them with guys who have the potential to be better because they're better athletes, but it is tough. If you think of what you went in the safety room or starting safeties last year, Malachi Starks, Javon Bullard, that's pretty good. And if you told me you were going to replace them with KJ Bolden, a true freshman, and Dan Jackson, I'd been like, Georgia's going to lose every damn game they play.
Yeah.
Those 2 are playing lights out.
Yeah, they are. They are.
And that was so loving what they're doing. Got to give them a lot of credit.
Got to give one to to Carson Beck, obviously.
Yeah. What a night.
Crazy. Hey, and then give one, I give one to Frazier too. He didn't have the best yards per carry, but they needed somebody to run the ball, right?
Yeah.
And he did score a touchdown, but needed somebody to get in there and at least give you some carries, and he gave you 19. Now, again, 3.6 average, but he gave you 19 carries, at least gave you some semblance of a run game a little bit. And then shout out Daniel Harris coming in for Humphrey. I'm sure that the coaching staff wasn't sitting there going, we're looking to take Humphrey out, first penalty he gets or whatever. But that's what happened. They took him out, and then Daniel Harris didn't give the spot back. He only got one tackle he got one breakup too, but only one tackle on the stat sheet. But they didn't really throw it his way, and good for him. Maybe he's locked down that second quarterback spot.
Love the fact that this team came in. We've been complaining all year about sacks. Georgia got 5 sacks again in this game. That was big.
Didn't feel like 5. There must have been like 2 or 3 right there at the end, right?
No, it felt like 5 to me because,
really?
Yeah. They got to him. Well, here's the thing. It felt like it should have been 50.
Yeah, right. So that's probably
why. They surrounded him 8 or 9 different times and got a hand on him, and he just breaks free. And that has been driving me nuts all year long.
That's been driving me nuts since Kirby got here, though.
Yeah, well, just they're right there, and they can't bring him down. And today was annoying because they would over pursue, and then he would slip past them, and then there's nobody to stop him. Mm-hmm. And Nico's just running. How many yards did Nico have rushing? He got sacked so many times. So he winds up with only 18 yards because they take the sack yardage into account. But he ran the ball 12 damn times. Yeah. I guarantee you he didn't.
Probably closer to 50 probably would be my guess.
What do you think each sack's worth 7 yards?
Mm-hmm.
So 5 sacks is minus 35 yards. Add that to it. Yeah, 18 and 35. You're right, about 53. That's about fair. There's a bunch of guys we could give honor. I don't think we give them helmet stickers, but we could give them honorary mentions. I think Chauncey Bowen's getting his first 5 carries or 5 carries. That was good for him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Dylan Miller was having a big night, but he got hurt. Ugh.
Good seeing Nitro Tuggle out there too.
Yeah. 4 targets, 2 catches, 25 yards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you there. There's a couple guys on defense I'll talk to. But here's the thing that when I look at the stat list, here's what makes me happy if I'm a Georgia fan. So you see Carson Beck, 25 of 40. Could have been 30 of 40, but, there's 4 drops, 2 or 3 balls thrown away. When you look at the yards the receivers had, it always has what's their longest catch. 21 yards, 25 yards, 32 yards, 38 yards, 23 yards, 16 yards, 23 yards. Those are explosive plays.
Yep.
Georgia's offense has not been called explosive in a long time.
11 explosive plays, which are gains of 15 or more on passing plays. 11 of those today. It's crazy. It's really, really good.
That's phenomenal. So, again, I'll give credit to the guys that caught him. I won't, completely whine about the guys who dropped them. Coach gets on to me all the time. He's like, quit focusing on the negative. But I'm like, explosive plays there. And you mentioned one for Beck, and I would give an honorary mention to Mike Bobo. I thought he called a good game. And I'd give one to Glenn Schumann because I thought he called a good defense.
Cool. Well, let's get on out of here, would you?
Yes, sir. Why don't you shut it down and we'll let it go.
Guys, we appreciate you joining us. This was the Postgame Overreaction show presented by UGAsports.com. That's right in Bullseye. I'm Paul Meharry. We'll join you next week, 12:45 kickoff next week. Kind of a weird time.
Well, see, that's going to give us, that way we can do a 6-hour postgame show before you need to go to bed.
I'm going to sleep, guys. Appreciate you joining us. If you missed any of it, it'll be on the podcast. It'll be on the website. See you soon. See ya. Peace.